Should be live.
Oh.
Things should be live.
All right, memes. That means no more N-words.
No more. Lord knows I be saying those all the freaking time, dude.
You gotta chill with the racism, man. I'm worried about you.
Can't help it. I just love to express myself in such a horrible way.
I'm only just realizing that the last podcast has Shadiversity's video linked in the description.
Oh my god. Of course it does. That doesn't surprise me.
Well, welcome to Pafe.
We'll never have a normal intro for one of these.
We don't need to.
You're right.
We're anything but normal people.
So, massive gaming. This is fucking massive gaming.
Do you want to have a prologue or just jump straight into it?
A prologue.
Yeah.
Fucking prologue.
In a world where we get mediocre Call of Duty sequels, one man, one world.
It's just one man. It ends there.
One man. One man. I got a text message. Yeah, so you know this.
Bitch, fuck off! I'm doing my podcast.
Fuck off! I'm podcasting.
Fuck out of my room! I'm podcasting.
Get the fuck out of my room! So this is a sequel to our episode. What was that episode? Like 9 and 9?
10.
Yeah, episode 10.
Or
no, episode 9. Episode 9. Because episode 10 was the one where Fungus had.
Yeah, 10 was 10's the legendary episode.
Yep.
So this is a sequel to episode 9, where we gave our thoughts and predictions and hopes for Call of Duty Cold War. And
no, this video is this is a reaction to the Actman video that
we're gonna be covering Actman's video in this video, guys.
We're not gonna say anything. We're just gonna sit here and watch it. And you guys are gonna watch it with us, but we're not gonna talk over it. You're just gonna steal his content.
We're just very bitter and envious individuals that can't make as good as content as him. So we're just gonna sit back and seethe about the fact that he's pretty much said everything that can already be said about the game. But we're just gonna relay it for anyone who wants to watch.
Oh, acting male, why?
You're telling me that you love Mason and Woods and Adler and Hudson?
Well,
I wouldn't use the word love.
Should we? What should we start off with?
I'm a goddamn onion, Mason. You should know that.
I'll start with this. You know, we played the game for a while, and we put off making this video for a bit. And I was kind of waiting to see some reviews, and Actman is, he's the Call of Duty guy. He puts out the big Call of Duty reviews. He makes pretty good Call of Duty videos, and I was a little bit disappointed in his video, if I'm being honest. It wasn't. It was just, I like his skit at the beginning. Probably the funniest skit he's done. There's that. There's merit.
I think
6 minutes of the video that's good, I guess.
The only problem I think I have with his video is that he gave probably a little too much props to the campaign.
Also,
not enough attention to zombies. Not that you could say too much about zombies.
He was never really a zombies guy, so I guess I understand that.
My thing is
he tries himself to be though.
Well, he tries to give like this. He doesn't portray himself as somebody who doesn't know zombies, but he also tries to give like an opinion on it, and the opinion is usually like, I don't want to say misinformed and seem like I'm gatekeeping or some shit, but it seems like he doesn't really know like the core values of like what makes zombies like zombies, you know?
Well, he's what I would call a zombies puritan, where it's only the people that he's one of those people that only really enjoys World at War and the original Black Ops, where zombies was like, I mean, it basically fucking played itself.
Yeah.
Where like it's just you get your perks, you upgrade your weapon, and you're done.
Right.
He doesn't really like any of like the added quests to the maps later on in the later games,
Well,
which is
one of
really
his like,
strange. It's really strange why you liked Black Ops 4
Yeah,
to
he
me.
loved Black Ops 4 apparently.
do you remember like his critiques of zombies? And I think it was Shadows of Evil. He was like, you know, I hate the fact that you can't rebuild barriers.
No,
And like
his
rebuild
his take.
barriers is pretty... He said it was
I
pretty
know.
pointless.
I remember being particularly disappointed with his takes on BO3 and BO2 zombies.
Yeah.
Although I think it was kind of, to an extent, somewhat indicative of the general perception of zombies at that point, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, I don't like it. It's new."
I don't know about that.
Not everybody, but there were a good few people that were like, "We like the zombie purists," as you said, who just
No, yeah,
seek
they definitely exist.
Like his problem is it's usually just he doesn't know enough and he doesn't say enough, and like therefore he gives like this short like misinformed opinion. I guess I hate saying it like that because I don't want to seem like I'm trying to be like snobby because I know more about zombies than you, acting male. Yes. But like,
no, but we actually love Actman.
I fucking
love Actman.
Yeah, he makes great videos. I just, it's the same problem with all of his like Treyarch videos. Like he'll talk about zombies for like a very short amount of time. He doesn't give it like the attention it deserves, and then he's like, zombies are zombies, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, all right, well that's fine. And he was like, Black Ops 3 is like the worst zombies, and I'm like, hold up, you want to chill with that opinion, Doug?
Yeah, that's just. It's not even an opinion, it's wrong.
It's not an opinion, it's a fact. Yeah, I just like I don't know. So like what like I was kind of I don't know, like okay, so he posted on his Twitter like a bunch of, as he's been doing lately, when like now when he's making videos, he'll like kind of post like updates or whatever, like a funny like, oh, here's a screenshot from something that's going to be in the video, and he had like Tim Hansen. He was playing with Tim Hansen in the game, and I was like kind of shocked he didn't have Tim Hansen's like commentary to some degree, or like maybe at least like I don't know.
I'm surprised he didn't, have the insight that you would have expected after having played with Tim Hansen.
Yeah,
I kind of like from the perspective of like not to sit and call us content creators, but like surely if you're sitting in that position, would you not go, right, I should flesh out this like the end portion of my video with a take with somebody who's essentially a lot more qualified to talk about this than I am?
Yeah, that's kind of that's the mindset I went into it with when I saw that screenshot. I'm like, he always says that he's like not a huge zombie guy, so he doesn't really know too much like what to say or whatever.
Well, that's why I kind of give him a pass because he is kind of in a predicament. He was always more of like a campaign and multiplayer guy. And
yeah.
So, but if he just skipped by zombies, people would be like, well, why didn't you talk about zombies? It's like,
I mean, zombies is like a third of the game, and he spent like 6 minutes on it, and like a 40-minute video,
something like
that.
It's just I don't know. Like when I saw that, I expected him to be like, so usually I don't have anything really substantive to say about zombies, but this time I got my buddy Tim Hansen to kind of break it down for me a little bit better. Tell me what's different about this zombies that maybe I wasn't understanding, or from the other titles, or what. I don't know. Like I kind of expected him to like implement him in some way.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't he say in his zombies portion of the video that like the zombies isn't really much different?
Which is like, if he did say that, I can't remember him saying that, but if he did say that, that's...
I could be very wrong, but if he did say that, I'd be like, well, have you played zombies?
Yeah, because...
I mean, like...
It's vastly
like, yeah,
different.
I guess you kill zombies in it, but a lot is different. A lot of the core fundamental mechanics are very, very different this time around.
Yeah.
It's annoying because I generally love his videos, and like if you look at some of his older stuff, like his video on like World at War and Black Ops and so on, they're probably some of the best videos breaking down, especially for I don't want to say like his videos aren't for the most researched viewers. You could go into one of his videos without knowing too much about the gameplay and so forth, without having played Cold War.
No,
Or
he makes very approachable content. He does,
Yeah.
That's kind of it's
but
nice, I guess, to like you look at his content and then you can decide whether or not to get the game. But I kind of feel like he does those people a disservice with his most recent video, or with the Cold War video.
well, that's why we are here to actually give the correct take on
Yeah.
Black Ops Cold War.
How fucking
Okay.
dare you act, man? You goddamn fucker.
You
Goddamn
fucking
right.
Greek god-looking fucker with perfect bone structure that I'm not jealous about. Fuck you, Act Man.
You goddamn bastard. I don't know. Like I liked his video overall, and I you know what? I usually don't care about the multiplayer sections, but I think this time around it was very important because he shined a light on the fucking matchmaking, and like I think that's a big flaw with this game, honestly.
We'll get into that, trust me.
Yeah, cuz
But should we start off with multiplayer since that's probably going to take the least amount of time?
yeah, that's fun. Yeah, we can.
That would be a strange way to do it, but I guess we can.
We could do
I
we
think
could
I've
do
played multiplayer with most
multiplayer.
of us, haven't I?
Let's do like multiplayer zombies and then campaign because I feel like we're gonna talk about campaign the longest.
We're going to talk about campaign for a while.
So
as the person who's played multiplayer the most out of the three of us, as normal, I have no genuine takes. I would like to sit in the fence and.
of course.
I honestly don't mind it, to be honest. It's not anything that I would like. The thing is, I would almost rather go back and play Black Ops 1's multiplayer than play
I'd
Cold
rather
War's
play,
multiplayer.
I think, any other COD multiplayer than this.
Yeah, I think this one is just completely overshadowed by Modern Warfare's multiplayer because Modern Warfare was such a huge leap forward, and then this one was just such a it was just kind of like a fart in the wind. It's like almost worse than Modern Warfare's multiplayer.
It is worse than it's just like it's objectively worse even in its launch state.
It's
I mean, we only get 8 maps at launch, and I don't know. Okay, so I believe in the beta, or in the alpha, one of the two, the tick rate for the servers was like 60, I think. But in the actual game, it's now 20. 20!
20!
So now, like, when you're playing in a game, like, I don't know if you guys feel like your bullets just fucking disappear sometimes.
It feels like
or
it.
like the hit detection is off. Yeah, that's because the server is just not refreshing fast enough to like catch it. And like so it's just, and also we'll get into the skill-based matchmaking in a bit, but it's just one of those things that just like the content is not there and the gameplay is subpar and the maps are average at best. We have the smallest arsenal ever at a Call of Duty launch. I mean, it's not there.
Yeah, I think that's a very accurate way to put it. To be honest with you, like it's hard for me to say much because like I really like I think it's just literally overshadowed by Modern Warfare, and it's just like there's just not, they don't innovate enough with it. Like, and that's the thing, like Call of Duty's never really innovated like that much, like that quickly. But like Modern Warfare was a very big step forward, and then this is kind of a step backwards.
It's just really inoffensive. Like it doesn't do anything that whenever I compare it to the rest of the COD series, there's nothing in the multiplayer where I'm like, you have something that cannot be replicated by any other game. Like even the graphics, like I would almost argue. So one of the things that I did notice whenever I first played multiplayer was like, it's not quite as much an issue now, but I noticed it was like strangely difficult to see people.
Yeah, I think that's a problem, and it's honestly that's a problem with like a lot of first-person shooters nowadays. It's like you're so overstimulated with like effects and like graphical fidelities and so forth. It's it just makes it so difficult to see enemies, and it's especially noticeable in this game. I don't know why, if it has something to do with the lighting, but that is a problem I've noticed in a lot of first-person shooters as of late.
It's very a lot of the maps are incredibly vibrant. Like even zombies is really really vibrant.
Yeah,
I'll agree to
It's
that.
like
but I it's another big damper on the multiplayer is skill-based matchmaking, which everyone has talked about at this point. I'm pretty sure,
Yeah.
but
or lack thereof.
yeah, I mean, Activision literally has a patent where they will purposefully put you in a group of shitty, like a lobby with shitty players if you buy something from like their market, their in-game market or something like that. And
Yeah.
the idea is to entice the shittier players into buying your stuff when they see the kill cam. It's like, whoa, that gamer has a skin that looks cool. I want that. In the
I
hopes
was
that
killed by Cowboy Adler.
like the fucking idiot will go to the store and actually buy it. And apparently it works because this year was the most profitable year for Call of Duty in Call of Duty history, apparently.
That's
Holy shit!
surprising.
But
It's kind of it's saddening though because they're not. I I don't know what the sales figures of Cold War is, but I'd assume they're huge. And it's
that combined, when I was talking about like the most profitable year, it's not Cold War alone. That's including Modern Warfare
yeah, it's the in-game purchases for Modern Warfare
and the game purchases of Cold War. Yeah,
hmm. I
but
don't know if it's not merited. Like whenever you look at the multiplayer is genuinely just really inoffensive. And like I go
well,
back
I
to
think
it,
it's inoffensive. I think it's inoffensive, like because like you get the usual standard modes like TDM and stuff like that. Then you get to Fire Team Dirty Bomb, and that's when everything just fucking collapses.
I like it. Leave it alone.
No, I am not leaving it alone. I don't know who the fuck came up with that, but they need to be fired.
It's a clusterfuck for sure. Like I can
No,
understand
it's
why you have fun with it, but it's definitely like a clusterfuck.
It's
clusterfuck is like an understatement. It's like I
it's
don't
like
know.
team deathmatch with battle royale with like search and destroy.
It's like a
fuck them all
dev.
together.
It's like a dev worked really hard and typed up a bunch of documents that had like a concept for a game mode, and then like the fucking idiot intern dropped all the papers and then scrumbled them all back together and then dropped them off, and this is the end result.
Yeah, that'll do. Guys. Well done.
That'll do. Like like this mode is literally the definition of like throwing shit at the wall and seeing if it sticks.
Yeah, it feels like really out of left field as far as Call of Duty standards go.
Well, it's not even like that I'm against like, something new. It's just it's like it's inherently poorly designed because like the second you give people the option to parachute wherever they want, then it's literally just gonna turn into absolute fucking chaos.
Yeah.
5.7 million copies apparently.
Holy shit.
7 million. It's
Do you think a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's like a Black Ops title and like it was like marketed as like an OG like Black Ops game, like not like
oh,
3
I'm
or 4?
sure Black Ops is extremely beloved, so it's
Yeah.
Like we
That's
going
weird.
back to the inoffensive point. There is like, I think as Squid was saying, the lack of content. Like even you see if you go back to BO1, and you have like the wager matches. You have gun. Do you have gun game in this in Cold War?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. There might be a custom games variant of it, but to my knowledge, it's not in the game.
But like you don't have the wager matches system. You don't have like we have a significantly reduced number of guns, and with regards to the menus and the overall feel of the game, it's kind of like it's genuinely like you're playing. I've only played Modern Warfare a few times, but it's kind of like playing Modern Warfare, but without the perks of Modern Warfare. If you get what I mean, it's kind
No,
of like a less
it's
refined
like
Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare, like Modern Warfare had a lot going for it. It had the new engine, it had all these like smaller little game mechanics. Like tack sprint and using like doors and such, peeking and like mounting your gun and stuff. And it seems like all of those little quality of life mechanics that kind of make the game a little bit more immersive were just taken out of
Right.
this. Like they embraced the arcade shooter aspect of the game more so this time around.
Yeah, for sure.
But the Modern Warfare went for more of like a grounded take.
Yeah, I mean the guns feel significantly better in Modern Warfare, like from
Oh, without a doubt.
previous titles. Like alone, the gunplay is like finally on par with like Battlefield, because Battlefield's always been like ahead in that regard.
Yeah, I'm glad they brought back Gunsmith, but this time around it's just like I mentioned this in our previous video, I think, but quite literally, like there's just attachments that are objectively better than others, and there's just absolutely no trade-off.
It
Yeah.
comes back to the once you figure out the meta, there's no real reason to
Yeah.
have any other like if you can figure out
Like-
what the best attachments are, there's no point to use any of the other ones.
Like in Modern Warfare, you could mix and match and like create your own animal, but in this, it's like, all right, well, it's very clear what the best attachments are. It's not.
Yeah,
There isn't really much contention there.
there's like the best one to use for multiplayer, and then the best one to use for zombies, and like that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, why would you use anything else? I don't understand.
And the best one to use for fire team as well, don't forget that.
It's quite literally just in every way an inferior version of what Modern Warfare did.
Yeah,
I would argue to an extent it's an inferior version of like even older Black Ops games like Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 because there's such a significantly reduced amount of content. We have less guns, less maps.
The
We
amount
have
of content is definitely a problem. Like I'm sorry, but like if you're charging $60 for a game, like I just got done playing Cyberpunk where I basically played like a 70-hour campaign, right? I paid the same price for that as I did for this game, and this has the least amount of content any COD has released with since like what, World at War maybe?
yeah, but even then, World
But
at War
even
had
World
more
at War had
maps.
more?
Yeah, I think it had more maps at launch.
had the
Like, this
same
is
number of zombie maps at launch.
And also, not to mention how buggy the game released of a state. And like, I know we were joking about this earlier, but after playing Cyberpunk, it's kind of hard to complain about a game being buggy. But
Yeah,
but the point is that the state in which this game launched should be unacceptable because it doesn't hold up to scratch anywhere near as much as like compared to the other COD games. It just doesn't.
Like we can the thing is that we should definitely keep in mind is like as much as we may sound spoiled comparing about bugs and glitches in Black Ops Cold War, whenever you compare it to something like Cyberpunk, I don't think Cyberpunk should lower our standards for what games should be.
No.
Like we have to still look if we want to try and judge games as fairly as possible.
Yeah,
We have to look
two
at
things
something
can
like-
be true at once. I agree.
And it's upsetting because this game, I feel like it lacks not only a level of polish but also lacks just a significant amount of content. Which, for all we know, like we may have to make a third retrospective video after they've released all the content and the maps and everything. But
yeah.
can can they justify releasing a game that's this? I don't want to say it kind of is bare bones, especially in
pretty
comparison to
bare
other
bones.
games in the same franchise.
Yeah, I am definitely inclined to agree with that. I was very, very upset to hear that we were only gonna have one zombie map too. I mean,
Until February.
Which it's so fucking ridiculous.
like I went into
mean,
this
hey,
already
hey,
being like, I don't even really care about multiplayer. Like I went into it with that mindset, and like I went into that with fucking Modern Warfare. To be honest with you, I was like, well, whatever. And I played it, and I was like, okay, no, this is actually like decent. As far as Call of Duty goes, I was like, this ain't bad, and like I liked it. And then this one came out, and I kind of just go into old Treyarch games with the same mindset of like, whatever, multiplayer. I'll play zombies and campaign. That's about it. But like, I was like, you know what? If it plays anything like Modern Warfare, I'll enjoy it. And I'm like, I felt like that's what we were gonna get, and we like got like a half-baked version of Modern Warfare's multiplayer. It's weird. It's definitely more arcadey, and like they got rid of like certain things that's like why.
Your footsteps aren't quite as loud anymore on the bright side.
God.
But
just-
you know, like if we had more maps, we had more weapons, we had, you know, a higher tick rate, because honestly the servers are fucking atrocious.
And skill-based matchmaking and a higher
yeah.
level of polish. It's kind of
Yeah, like it starts to stack after a while,
Yeah.
but you know, like it needs a lot before it can even compare with previous COD games.
I mean, this to an extent kind of comes into the conversation about how games can essentially be released half-baked and then cooked throughout at like post-release. So like you look at something like Battlefront 2 2017, which was a complete shit show at launch. They kind of managed to they pulled it back from the brink and then created just a kind of this is a decent game, I guess.
I'm getting tired of having to pay for beta testing your game. I'm getting tired of it.
Yeah, they need to like figure out a new system to like test these games or something. Because
Well, it's
the
just- I
old
feel
way
like
of
they
doing it
release them
doesn't
like
really
this on
seem to work.
purpose. I kind of feel like they do it like this on purpose because they release it.
No, they definitely
release
do.
it with
They're like games are going towards the whole games as a service road. They've been heading down that road for a while now, and we're kind of starting to see that come to a head with all these games that are coming out now, and it really is destroying these games.
It's like patches have just been completely and utterly taken advantage of. Like, it's kind of they've literally they've turned it from patches into seasons pretty much. Where well, next season we're gonna patch some of these things. We're gonna add some new maps and maybe some
Modern
weapons.
Warfare is like at 300 gigs, I think, right now on
Jesus
PC.
Christ.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Just
Yeah.
just think how much you'll you'll have to update Cold War by the end of this cycle.
I don't want to think about it.
We talked about this a little bit in the Cyberpunk discussion with Alpha, but like it's literally becoming like predatory with these sizes for games because like it's almost incentivizing you to pre-order so you can download the game early so you can actually play it the day it comes out instead of like having to wait a whole day.
It's not even that you have to pre-order it in order to play it whenever it comes out. You don't get to play it early. You play it whenever it comes out. If you don't pre-order it, you probably will end up playing it like what, a day after it releases.
Yeah. That's kind of how it is, unfortunately.
And especially like we're not even factoring in people like myself with absolutely shite Wi-Fi, where like, well, people like me, we kind of with really poor Wi-Fi, you're forced to like pre-order things because if you don't pre-order it, I genuinely wouldn't have been able to play this game at launch.
Well, that's why like I don't pre-order games until it's like, well, for the most part at least, I don't pre-order games until it's like a day before the game comes out, just so I can download it and I already know like kind of what the consensus of the game is, which is honestly what I would recommend most people do.
But that's what I mean though, is like it's just, you know, it's like, hey, if you actually want to play this game though the day it comes out or the night it comes out, you better hope you pre-order it or else you're fucked, because if you buy it the next day then you're gonna have to wait a whole day, or if your internet's that bad at least. But you know, like I have pretty decent internet, but at the same time it's still annoying. Like it's like, oh, Cyberpunk goes live at 7 p.m. I'm like, sick. I get on it at 7 p.m. and I'm not playing it till like fucking 10 or some shit. And I'm like, okay.
But is that pretty much it about multiplayer? Does anyone else have anything to say?
I mean, there's very little to say because there's very little content. It's kind of
like that's why we start off with multiplayer. There's not much to say about it, which is kind of sucks because Modern Warfare's multiplayer was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And it's like Modern Warfare set the standard, so you know, Treyarch, you gotta step up.
Yeah, they need to do something. I don't like the score streaks either. I don't like how they handled it this time.
God.
It's really strange.
It's like participation award. It's literally all it is.
It's like participation award, and the fact that it's like you could play an entire game, do amazing, and not even get some of those really high kill streaks.
Yep.
because of how high the ceiling is for it too. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, I can exist and get a care package and then like hope to God I get like an AC 130 or whatever. But like, it's just a strange system. Like, I don't know what they were thinking.
The score streaks themselves are fun to use though.
Yeah, no,
I'd say
they're all right.
I'd say that they got them pretty good this time around.
I'm not sure whether I like the like whenever you're playing, if you're playing team deathmatch, you're completely and utterly disincentivized from getting the higher score streaks because you'll only get to use whatever score streaks you get, like what, once in a game, maybe twice.
Yeah, no, good fucking luck getting the higher tier score streaks in TDM.
Yeah.
You have to get like 10,000 points to get the highest.
It's insane.
Score, and like you, first of all, in a TDM match, the chances of you doing that, unless you're carrying your entire team and getting every single kill and assist, like you've got no chance.
Yeah, it's not a good system. I don't know why they changed it.
I'm not sure.
Would you guys be opposed to a certain Ethan joining the chat?
I
Sure.
would not be opposed.
Bring
Better
that,
lit than ever, I guess.
bring that man in.
I shall indeed. You can continue the conversation while I work with that in the background.
I mean, I guess we could get his opinion on multiplayer when he gets in, so we don't have to jump into anything else right away. But like, I don't know, man. I just like, is it a product of the game like getting tossed over to Treyarch like last minute, or like I don't understand like what the deal with that was.
The problem is that I don't even know how much of this is Treyarch's game.
I know that's honestly that's the big question a lot of people are still asking is like what parts of it were actually them, like we don't even know.
Had no responsibility when it came to the campaign. Apparently, that was all Raven Software.
Yeah,
and apparently Treyarch was responsible for multiplayer, zombies. But I don't know how much of that was already done by the time Treyarch got their hands on it.
I mean, I feel like that's a conversation in and of itself as well, and we'll definitely get onto that whenever we get into zombies a bit more.
yeah,
Hello,
for
Ethan.
sure.
Ho ho ho!
Welcome,
No racial slurs.
Mr. Grapefruit.
Just have to remind you just in case.
No, I'm aware.
Did
He
you
doesn't
get them
say
all
bad
out
words,
just
dude.
on, or?
People are gonna start thinking we just
talk. Barrage of them beforehand.
People are gonna start thinking we just toss that shit around if we keep starting podcasts like okay guys, no more N words. It's like, yeah.
I have to warn you. You have to sign an agreement.
If I ever do become an actor in the future, I know that this shit's gonna come back to haunt me at some point.
Yeah,
well,
well,
nobody
that
knows
makes
your
4
name.
of us.
That's all right.
Yeah.
How are they gonna find you? You're a squid.
That is
Yeah,
true. My
Denzel.
only persona is Squid. That's all that they know.
There's no way they would ever find you, Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington.
But Ethan, so quick, what's your opinion on multiplayer?
Multiplayer? Well, I heard you guys talking about it a bit before. I will agree that it's worse than Modern Warfare. That's a given.
Yeah.
I'm right there with meme and score streaks, except I don't just disagree with them. I hate them. I think they're
Yeah.
the worst thing to happen to Cold War's multiplayer in general, besides Satellite. I fucking hate Satellite.
What, you mean the best sniping map in COD history?
It's so bad. It's so bad even for sniping. I hate it.
Yeah.
And then also you guys were talking about it's hard to see people. Yeah, that's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Miami is worse though, let's be real.
I don't think Miami's terrible. I think it's not
Miami
great.
is so god fucking awful. It's not even funny.
I have
But
I have a
have a
mixed
discussion.
I have a mixed opinion on Miami because I think Miami works for objective based modes. But like
Oh yeah. I think
for-
that's what it was designed for.
yeah, but like for like something like team deathmatch or like kill confirmed, it is like AIDS.
No chance.
Search and Destroy does feel pretty good on
Like
I
I'll
will-
give
I
it
will
that.
admit.
Yeah. I think it's designed in such a way that like controlling certain parts of the map is like vital for an objective and like it works well. It reminds me of, like Gears of
It
War
feels like
slash
Counter-Strike.
yeah, like dude, yeah, Counter-Strike, Gears of War, Halo, like those map, like how those maps are usually designed with like controlling a certain point will give you a huge advantage. That map has like
Yeah.
a lot of that.
But all right, well,
But I do agree, it's it's a pretty shitty map for like team deathmatch. Like it's AIDS, it's everywhere, it's all over the place.
Yeah, the spawns are also terrible. On that
Yeah.
map.
They're
So,
fucking
so
awful.
what exactly is satellite good for then?
Nothing. Nothing. I hate that map so much, guys. You will never catch me saying anything good about it.
I
I
don't really
think
have
it'd
an
make a pretty
opinion.
good battle royale map.
Oh,
There's
God.
like 1 or 2 good maps in the game, and that's pretty much it.
Don't even get me started on Cartel. I
Cartel's
think
not-
everybody has the same issue with it when it's the grass that you can't
The
see people
grass.
through.
Oh,
It's like it's
God.
already fucking impossible to see people in this game. Now I have to try and see through fucking grass.
Just lower your resolution, you'll be fine.
I do like Armada, and I do like. Oh man, it's that
Moscow.
like. Moscow's okay, but I'd like that. It's like a factory in Germany. I forget what that one is. But I think that's
Oh,
probably
yeah,
the
yeah.
best map. In the game.
Yeah, that's got serious Counter-Strike vibes. That map. Yeah, I agree with that.
Anyways, zombies, zombros, zombra.
Zombra.
Zomboni.
Can I go last?
Can I go last?
I already
I'm gonna
know
give the
your
worst
take on
take.
zombies is gonna be shit. So you go last.
Yeah. Disclaimer: nobody listen to what Josh has to say about zombies. This man's opinion
Oh
is
man,
butt cheeks.
I'm gonna pounce on every single thing that Josh says about this game.
We're gonna cut him off before he can even make a point. Be like, no.
No, you're a fucking idiot. This is why.
This is basically gonna be like, you remember the Kathy Newman Jordan Peterson debate?
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
waiting
like,
for
very
Josh to
clear
get
to me
like
who was who in
muted.
this situation.
The only difference is every time you say, so what you're saying is you're completely and utterly right and I'm a retard.
Yeah, exactly. But
So, zombies.
I guess I'll start. I
for it.
think Cold War Zombies is fucking amazing.
Guys, we're here to
Oh.
let you know, zombies is fucking good this time around.
It is really fucking good. It's so good that it makes me look back on BO4 with disdain.
It makes me question whether or not Black Ops 3 is actually the best zombies.
Like if this game continues on a path that it's heading towards, where it gives us a banger of a map after like just consistent bangers, you know?
Yeah, the new
Like
golden.
how
We get
Black Ops
another
3 is-
golden
Whoa.
age of zombies after the dark ages of Black Ops 4.
Well, yeah,
Then-
think about that. If they go back to Golden Ages, like think what they did in the first rendition of Zombies in World at War when they started adding new mechanics per map. What if they keep doing that in Cold War?
Yeah, they could.
I have a bit of a, like, I'm not entirely certain that this is a completely original Treyarch.
No, I think we can get into that in a bit. I do question how much of this is Treyarch because I definitely see some elements of other zombie games from
Yeah.
Sledgehammer, for example, in this.
Yeah,
But
sure.
character models.
No, I absolutely love pretty much everything that they've done with this. Even like the point system has grown on me because
Yep.
it gives you it makes it to where you can use every weapon and you'll still get points from them.
Mhm.
Because that used to be a problem in past games. You could just not use certain weapons because it would give you dick for fucking points.
Yeah.
Well, the
but-
thing that really surprised me is the crystals. The fact that you could still have progression outside of the game.
Yeah.
know,
Well,
it was
that's one
permanent.
of the big things this time around that I absolutely adore because I mean, and I think every zombies game from this point forward needs to have it because, like you know, obviously, Ethan has a unique perspective because he's only ever played World at War Zombies and then he jumped to this. So he's had he literally jumped through years of progression and evolution of zombies mechanics to this.
Yeah.
Because, you know, for the longest time, zombies was kind of bare bones. It was kind of like that gimmick mode that, you know, for some reason people could just play on hours on end and it would never get boring. But
Yeah.
this time around, it just has a lot more meat on the bones, and they really did go out of their way this time around to, as Craig Houston put it, is like, we are going to focus on what makes zombies so much fun.
Yeah, they like you were talking about the point system earlier, like at first I think we were both in the same boat. We were like, why the fuck didn't they just go back to how they had it
Yeah.
before? Because everyone hated how it was in Black Ops 4. But this is like honestly the perfect mix. And like in a perfect world, yeah, I'd like the original point system, but the way that this game is designed, it only like complements the gameplay. Like you kind of need this point system for the way that this game is designed, and it's a good thing. Like it works really well.
All right, so I've always said this before about this zombies mode. So zombies in the past, there was never a reason really to play past round 20.
Yeah, no, you
There's-
kind of cap out.
Yeah, you just cap out at round 20, and like you already have all your guns upgraded, you have the perks and such. This time around, that's not the case. You're still upgrading and still getting shit by like round 30.
Yeah, like 35.
Like you're always doing something, and that's a good thing. It always keeps you constantly engaged, always working towards something else.
Yep.
It gives you a reason to keep playing.
And that's why I like the point system, because they almost like drip feed you the points to like they give you just enough for what you need to like up to like round 35 basically. You're getting just what you need to like keep going and staying on top of things, and like it really makes the gameplay like quite engaging if you ask me. Like it's keeping you like on the edge of your seat basically till like round 35. You're like,
yeah, for those first, I don't know, maybe 20 rounds, I am struggling to keep all my money in one spot, especially when I've like just pack a punch and then I need the ammo.
yeah, and there's multiple valid ways to play it too, which I really appreciate. Like it's not just okay, I'm gonna go and upgrade my gun and then I'm gonna get this perk, and then it's like no, you could reasonably, like if you wanted to, you could choose to like get all your perks first, and you would have the same advantage if you were to not get any perks and upgrade your gun fully.
See, there's a couple things, like as much as to be honest, in hindsight, I feel like the new additions are they're refreshing. I feel like they're definitely welcome additions in the Zombies franchise. But and this isn't necessarily just indicative of the Zombies gameplay. I meant to bring it up in the multiplayer as well, but it goes for both. Some of the progression tracking's pretty shit.
What,
So,
for like challenges and stuff?
Yeah, so I remember there was a time where I was trying to get the woods operator and different operators and different say going through fire team or going through the multiplayer, and I would just notice that I would have like upwards of 20 medals for something that I only needed 15 of the medal for. So I think it was what was it, with woods you had to get 5 kills in a multiplayer match
15 times.
which is, I think we can all agree, probably a tiny bit excessive.
So it's a little different.
It takes a little bit of time, yeah.
I was like, right, well, you know what? I'll grind the multiplayer for a bit, and I'll eventually get there. And I was like, why is it taking me so long? I'm like still only on 11, and it said that I had 22 medals for it, and I had it only read.
No, yeah, the progression tracking is fucking busted in the game. So as someone who put himself through the endeavor of getting Dark Ether camo, you do not understand the pain that I went through with some of these camos.
Yeah, it's
like it just like I would go to like round 30 games working on only one gun, and it would just not track any of the progress I made for any of the camo challenges. It's fucking absurd. It's not a problem I think any Call of Duty in the past has ever had.
No, I don't think so.
So I could not possibly give an explanation as to why that was so broken.
My zombie hunter challenge is still bugged. Like I have one challenge left for the C4 kills, and it will not go up. It's stuck at 255 kills.
I have 3 more weapons categories to max out in camos, and I already have Dark Ether. It's fucking broken.
It's completely broken. My friend was asking me about that. He's like, how come it says I only need like 3 more gold camos until I have Dark Ether? I was like, huh? And like he showed me, and I was like, yeah, that's completely fucked. That's broken. Like,
no, like I don't know what it is, but it's one of the weapons categories. I forget which one, where I think it's actually worth 3 times more than it should be.
Yeah. It's bizarre.
There's a thing with XP as well, not even just the challenges, because playing zombies with, I don't know, let's say a level 1 to 5 gun, I'm leveling it up, every 2 rounds. I'm getting a new higher rank on it, and then after I hit round 20 maybe with a low rank gun, I just don't level it up anymore for
It
the
just
next
caps
15
out.
rounds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a serious problem because I like as someone who like maxed out progression and unlocked everything with the Ethereum crystals within the first few days. It's like, all right, well, I want to level up my guns, and there's really now no point to keep playing past round 20 because if I'm trying to level up my guns, because it's like, well, the XP just caps out.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the very few times that I have played zombies solo, I've done that too. I've just killed myself around round 15 because I don't get any more levels.
Yeah, no, they need to fix that. I don't know why. Like, in my opinion, in the lower rounds, you should be getting barely any XP, but like in the higher rounds, you're getting a shit ton of XP. Like, you already have like these base game mechanics that encourage people to go to higher rounds,
Mhm.
but then you have this extremely conflicting XP progression, and it just does not mesh with the game's design at all.
So have you all of you guys have completed the Easter egg for the Machina, right?
Yeah.
I've completed it. Ethan hasn't.
Okay.
What's the Easter egg? Is that the
So
dancing zombies?
No, it's
game?
like the
no.
it's like the actual storyline like thing.
Okay. Yeah,
It's the
there's-
actual
I
like
can't tell you
storyline
guys how much
quest
I
of the
fucking
map.
hate that though.
Megatrons and Orlov and
It's honestly the easiest Easter egg I think that's ever existed.
Yeah, it's my first attempt took me like 40 minutes.
It's like I can literally speedrun it at this point. It's so silly like how easy it is. It like
I don't have a huge problem with that though.
I don't either. It's just a note that like cuz I don't know, you go from these other games and like how crazy they are and then you go to this one you're like, yeah, that's
Like, yeah,
simple.
it's a little
I don't know.
strange.
It's a nice first map Easter egg. I hope they're not all this easy is my point.
They definitely need to ramp it up next map. They do.
Especially with like what's his name? Isn't it Orlov? I don't know. Whoever the guy is that you
Orlov,
protect.
yeah.
They need to like update that where he actually like can die or something. Cuz like you can literally leave him and he won't lose health.
Yep.
So like they need to add some urgency in that fight to like keep pushing you or something, because at least in that aspect alone it's like, you know, make the boss fight a little bit engaging, like have him lose health, and if he loses health you fucking fail.
I think this transitions nicely into like the thing that I have the least to say about when it comes to the zombies this time around, which is the storyline.
Yeah.
there's not loads to go off really. You didn't get a lot
No,
of content in terms of story in this game because like you're talking about the Easter egg only being 40 minutes. Compare that to something like Shadows. Like fuck, try doing that in 40 minutes.
no, it's ridiculous. Like Garad Krovi will take you like a couple of hours. Origins could take you like 4 hours on solo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate that there isn't really much to say about the storyline because like I can't really say whether it's good or bad because we don't know anything.
I feel like it's a nice thing to kind of ease us into the mechanics where we're not overwhelmed by the story and the mechanics and so many new.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, you know, we kind of said it in our last video, I'm kind of feeling it now with the way how you play as operators in zombies. You're just kind of experiencing the story through other characters, and the operators are just sort of like a catalyst to push the story forward, but they aren't involved really. They're just. It's gonna be like a Spartan Ops thing where it's like, oh, that team, that Spartan Ops team did that thing that was important. We don't know their names or anything, but they did that.
Weaver's like, hey
which
guys,
definitely,
and he's like, Colonel
it definitely removes. It does remove. Like I think it's impossible that it wouldn't, but it does remove a lot of weight from the story. Like it you know, there isn't there's. I don't think we ever thought. I don't think we ever thought there was going to be as much investment or depth as like a storyline to Black Ops 3. Like I don't think that was ever going to happen.
No,
but they looked at something like that and just went, you know what, we probably shouldn't even try, and they've just went with the operator route. And the operator route is another thing where I'm kind of thinking in terms of. I feel like if it was a Treyarch Zombies game, they would have had characters.
There's just no way, like, the final map of this game, there's no way there's going to be, like, that emotional weight that, like, having actual characters would carry. You know what I mean? Like,
They're not invested in the characters.
There's just no way. I mean, like
There are no characters.
they could
in it.
make like Weaver and Samantha and like these other characters. They could make them interesting and like have cool moments with them or whatever. But like at the end of the day, the operators are the ones experiencing what's happening in the game. So like if they don't have anything to say, then it's just like very like I don't know. It's very bare bones. Like there's no
Very
charisma at all. It's just you're just playing.
You get told what happened to you by like whoever's talking with the Weaver.
Yeah, no, the expositional dialogue is pretty fucking bad in the map.
Can I just say that you see the woman scientist?
Yeah,
She doesn't
she's
have to be
annoying.
head.
She's just I'm quirky scientist lady. Here's a joke. It's like okay.
Oh man, that place looks haunted. I hope it isn't. Shut the fuck up, bitch.
Like I kind of like the major guy, the black guy. What's his name? I don't remember his name, but I
you
like.
mean Admiral Briggs?
Yeah, of course. No. I like I like the differences, like at least from like the radios I listen to with him. Like he's like a completely different aspect because he's like, I don't give a fuck about any of this shit. I want to steal it all so that America can benefit from it. Whereas like Weaver's like, I want to destroy this shit because like I don't want it to fall into the wrong hands. Kind of
tropey as hell, but at least it creates a dynamic and it's interesting to listen to.
Yeah, at least not all three of the extra characters are all the exact same and all have the same motivations and shit, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Like the chick wants to fucking like get the stuff so she can like experiment with it and see like what like the different stuff it can do, and then the other scientist guy, I mean, I guess his like motive, it's kind of like an Operation like paperclip style thing. Like he used to work for the bad guys and now he works for us, and like he is like the insight of helping us like destroy everything.
It's like we did horrible things and now we're revisiting horrible things.
Yeah.
Fucking Werner von Braun.
Mein Gott.
I don't
What have
know
I
if
done?
But I would love for them to bring back grief mode. I don't think it's gonna
Shut
happen.
the fuck up, alright? I don't care about your opinion or anything that you say.
I know you don't. It's okay.
Grief mode.
If I remember correctly, I believe this is my podcast, but I might have transferred rights to Meme at this point.
It'd be really funny if he just got server muted there. If I actually believe correctly, this is my podcast.
This is my world.
But
I think it's going to be one of those maps that we'll judge retrospectively, because we'll judge what this map is based off what the future maps are.
Oh
It's
yeah,
kind
for
of,
sure.
It's like a The Force Awakens kind of movie, or not movie, but it's kind of like the same dynamic where if you have a follow-up which expands.
But the difference is zombies in this is good.
yeah, that is true.
I mean, simply on the face of it, if the future installments of zombies expand and develop the story and the gameplay and so forth, and don't just stagnate but add more and more things.
See, the thing is, like, their core mechanics and their gameplay loop is so fucking strong that, like, I don't think they need to worry so much about innovating on the gameplay front. Like, as long as they give us like more good maps and like they give us a few more things to upgrade with like Ethereum crystals and such, and then they really like hone in on the story within the maps that they're gonna release next, then we're in for something pretty fucking special here.
Yeah, like I think like okay, I'm sick of this map, but I think it's a good map. Like it's designed well.
I played it so much that I'm sick of it.
Like it is a good map. I'll give them that. Albeit a little small maybe, but like it's a good first map. Like it works.
It is pretty vanilla, but it's so much fucking fun.
Yeah, like the gameplay is just so good that it's hard to be like I don't even know like with the maps, like we could get an amazing next map, but it's like at the end of the day the gameplay I feel like is just going to carry the zombies, cuz I mean I don't know if we exactly talked about the gameplay itself, but I mean it fucking plays amazing. Like I really don't have any complaints. Like all the field upgrades are fucking, all of them are great. The mine is probably a little lackluster, I'd say, if anything.
Frost blast and the mine are a little lackluster.
Yeah, but other than that, like
what do you think about ammo caches?
I like them.
Yeah, I think
like them around.
you know what? I think they work in this game, honestly, because it keeps you going. Like, you know,
Mhm.
No,
I'd
I like
understand why people wouldn't like it, but I think it just works in this game.
Well, I think it's because they have to compensate for the fact that they added a lot more, I guess you'd call them X factors in the gameplay loop. Because this time around, you have in the mystery box, this time you have weapon rarities, which is one of the things that they added, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
So like now you basically are pack a punching your gun twice,
Yeah,
and
there's
you
there's
need to
two different.
constantly, yeah,
And
but you
then
need to like be constantly stacking them on top of each other in order to like make it to where you're competent for the later rounds.
yeah,
And
But I think what's even better is both of them use different currencies, so you're not struggling with
yeah,
just points to
yeah.
pack a punch and upgrade the rarity. You can do both at the same time, and
and
that's
that was something I was worried about. Like I didn't know how I was gonna feel about salvage. Like seeing like I know when the game like first came out and I first played it, I was like, why are zombies dropping Fortnite loot?
Yeah.
What is this shit?
Why are they dropping armor plates and fucking grenades and shit?
Like
Oh,
I was not liking it. I was not liking it, but it grew on me.
Yeah.
I mean, while we're on
It's
the topic of rarity, you're kind of with regards to the box. Like I didn't notice this was quite as a big a deal as whenever I first played it. You're not expecting to get anything incredible if your first few box pulls. You're completely. You might as well just not buy the box until.
No, like round
yeah,
20.
I never catch myself using box. I mean, it's nice that it's there,
If nothing
But
else, just buy a wall
never-
weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've hardly ever got the ray gun as well. I think I've got it once throughout my
Yeah,
entire game.
the rig.
Although-
It's extremely rare, but they nailed the ray gun this time around.
Oh, the rig is so
Horrible, it's
fucking
unreal.
good.
Like, it's so rare to get, but when you get it, you genuinely are like, oh, fuck yes. Like, this thing is amazing.
I remember the first
Like,
time whenever we were playing, and you just I think you just melted one of the Megatrons instantly. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck.
It's so powerful.
Okay, well,
Like-
while we're talking about powerful weapons, do I even need to mention the M16?
Do you like it?
Fast 12.
This man
Holy
is
shit!
just the M16. He brings it with him every
You
game.
are too. You are too.
I like
No,
Gotta admit that thing is a fucking force of nature.
Dude, I like it.
I do like the M16 in this game.
I
It
think
is
the
very
two
nice.
I think the
Oh,
two
it's
best
not
weapons
you don't need to upgrade it at all, and it still just work.
the two best weapons in my opinion, at least so far, are the Spaz 12 and the 1911 though.
Spaz 12 is so fucking dirty. I want it. I want it in my bed.
I did not expect that 1911 to be such a viable weapon, but my god, did they fucking make it so.
The 1911 in this game is so good.
Yeah.
It's my favorite 1911 in zombies.
Yeah.
Period.
It's-
And I didn't
it's so
think
good.
they would be able to do it.
I couldn't think whenever you guys were explaining the weapon system prior to the game's release, I couldn't wrap my head around having a viable M1911.
I predicted it.
Like whenever I went into it, it was the first gun that I used, and I was like, "Holy shit, this thing's holding up!" Like,
Oh yeah, I was exactly right. I was like, all the guns they're gonna go limp dick around like round 6 or 7. It's pretty much the case, and adding on to like the weapon rarities and how you're able to get that pretty quick, as well as the pack a punch and how easy it is to get that in the map. It's like no, pretty much every weapon is viable.
Yeah, even the fucking thumper, if you have Ring of Fire on it, it's fully upgraded. You just
Yep,
I think SMGs are the one thing that maybe under deliver.
I
That's-
agree.
that's-
I
Yeah,
think
if
the
there was a-
assault rifles and the SMGs are a little weak.
and honestly, sniper rifles need like some work. They're like the scope, the aim down sight time is like ridiculous.
takes so long.
I mean,
yeah.
if you're using a sniper in zombies, like what the fuck are you doing?
What do you expect, really?
You
Well-
did it for quite a while.
I guess
I did it for cambos.
I guess that's true, but like you look at Black Ops 3 and they have like something like the Draken that's like a fucking absolute beast, and then it's like if you had that gun in this game, the aim down sights time would just make it almost like useless.
It's kind of you think about whenever we're talking about having every gun be completely viable, having an aim down the sights time be that slow kind of invalidates all of the snipers.
Yeah,
and
like
you're
they-
kind of
they threw it in without balancing it from multiplayer. They're like, oh well, it has to be this in multiplayer because it'd be ridiculous if it wasn't.
No,
So.
I definitely I think they should honestly. I know they probably didn't have the time for this, but the attachments, like, they needed to completely rework the attachments and their attributes for zombies.
Yeah.
There
Like,
was a
they just don't fit in zombies.
Yeah, there was a specific attachment. It was the last barrel that you would get for the AK-47. In multiplayer, what it does is it does 11+% damage, and in zombies, it's just an 11% added bonus to effective damage range, and that does not equate whatsoever. I mean, you're using this barrel, and it's adding 30% to horizontal and vertical recoil. And in zombies, just for 11% more damage range,
Yeah, like
that's not good at all.
A lot of things aren't well defined either. Like the flashlight gives you more salvage, but like then there's another flashlight that gives you more salvage, but it takes away a certain like percentage to one of your like one of the weapon's abilities, and I'm like, okay, does this thing give me more salvage than the other flashlight then, or what? Like it doesn't tell you. It just says plus
it's
salvage.
very-
Yeah, the zombie specs are pretty unclear for the attachments.
So like I don't know what the point is of like choosing the flashlight that's later if it takes away some of your other, you know, attributes for the gun.
Well, speaking of attachments, where are my weapon kits? Where are the weapon kits? So, Ethan, in the previous zombies games in BO4 and BO3, you were able to customize the attachments for every gun, not just the
Okay.
gun that you spawn with. So, like, if you pull, like, let's say there was like an AK-47 in the past, you were able to have all the attachments on your AK-47, and if you got it out of the box, you pulled it out of the box, it would have your attachments on them. Or
That's
if you
nice,
bought it from
right?
the wall, it would have your attachments on them.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case in this game. The only weapon that has your own customized attachments on them are the gun that you spawn in with. And
There's a mechanic where
probably my biggest problem with zombies.
I agree.
Yeah, that sounds a bit wacky.
And I know what
There's a
you're gonna say,
mechanic where you
Josh. Are you talking?
yeah.
You talking about the
Randomize?
randomize your attachments? Yeah, like the thing with that is, and you guys tell me what your experience with this was. I'll get a gun out of the box and it has some fucking wacky ass attachments that I'm like, I'm not fucking using this shit, but it's a high rarity. So I'll go to the thing, I'll spend 250 scrap, and it'll look like I got the same attachments again. I'm like, okay, I'll do it again. I get like the same. I'm like, what is changing on this gun? It looks like nothing's changing. So like either I'm really unlucky or like that there's something wrong with that thing. Cause like sometimes I'll get like the attachments I don't want on it to be off, but then I'll get like some fucking retarded scope on it, and I'm like, okay, fuck this thing. I don't like whatever.
Yeah, I think the whole random attachment thing, like it. I get what they were going for, but it just doesn't work.
Yeah, that's definitely my
and,
biggest
like,
criticism.
And also, you know, you're not able to put your camos on more than one gun. And as a fucking gamer virgin who spent 3 days of game time getting a fucking camo,
Yeah,
I'm pretty pissed off that the only gun in my entire game is going to be my starting gun that has it.
bring back active camos from Black Ops 4. I think that was the coolest thing from Black Ops 4 was the active camos that like changed as you played, like depending on if you killed a certain enemy type, the camo would change, or if you got a certain amount of headshots, the gun would change. Bring those back.
Also,
And allow the option to, if I pack a punch a gun, that the pack a punch camo shows up, or if it's my camo, because honestly the camos just sometimes just glitch out in general, and there's just nothing on the gun at all.
bring back weapon kits. Bring them back.
Yeah, they should just bring
Yeah.
back weapon kits. Honestly, there's
guys,
no reason to not have it.
you guys played the most recent addition to zombies? Yeah, the jingle
What-
bells.
I have not played zombies because Cyberpunk has consumed my life for the
Same
past
here.
week.
So there's a new mode where all the zombies wear Santa hats and you can throw snowballs at them.
Oh yes, yeah, I saw the snowballs. They probably just copy
so
and
what I'm
pasted that from Black
gathering-
Ops 4.
So what I'm gathering is that this is not something I need to play.
What do you mean? It's a completely different mode.
Well, speaking of which, so how did you guys enjoy Onslaught?
I don't know. I'm not a
Oh.
virgin who owns a PlayStation.
I'll tell you in a year.
Yeah, I'll tell you in a year when this game's still relevant. Oh wait,
Have we really heard much about Onslaught or how it plays?
Oh,
Like,
it's
pretty
apparently it's
dog shit.
ass.
Like I saw Mr. T Lexified playing it for like 5 minutes. I was like, wow, this is like some serious dog balls. This looks fucking terrible.
I think the take on it would be is even though it's ass, I would still rather have it than not have it. To be
Yeah,
honest.
I mean it's
Yeah,
just more
it's
content.
It's kind of, if you look at the biggest issue that I think all of us unanimously have with Cold War Zombies at this point is the one map. If you were able to
Yeah.
play some of the multiplayer maps, even if it played ass, at least you have that variety a little bit more, and you can kind of, you don't get bogged down to the point where I feel like most of us are just kind of like taxed out on playing the one map.
Oh yeah,
No,
for
yeah.
sure.
If I had to change one thing about the game mode right now, it would be get more maps.
Like that's the one
Like
thing I'll
above everything
fucking.
else.
That's the one thing I'll give Black Ops 4 is fucking launched with 4 goddamn maps.
It did, and like
It's quite interesting.
they were mostly shit, but you know.
It comes down to, like, I think we're considering possibly having another discussion regarding this or something similar. Would you rather have one good map at launch and then have to wait a significantly longer amount of time for future maps, or have more map variety but the maps aren't quite as good? Like,
See, I don't think you should even put yourself into that dichotomy because we've had in the past where, you know, we've gotten multiple quality maps at launch. There's no excuse why they couldn't have done it this time around.
Yeah,
I think you can.
Like we don't need 4 maps, but at least fucking 2.
at least 2, like every other installment besides World at War.
I mean, it
I
comes
mean,
back to
my
the development cycle. I think we can excuse it in terms of we don't know how much of this game was already done when Treyarch came on board. We don't know how much time.
Oh, I don't even think that's an excuse. Like if the game's not done, then don't launch it.
Yeah, but they have a
at
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
Yep.
We had the exact same conversation about the release of Cyberpunk, and our point was ultimately that you shouldn't be announcing a release date for a game that you don't know is definitely finished by the release date. But with something like Call of Duty, for example, where they have the annual release system, I'm not entirely sure they have that wiggle room.
Well, I'm hold on. I definitely do think they have that wiggle room. I don't think it's written in the fucking constitution that a Call of Duty comes out every year.
Well, not to the same extent as something like Cyberpunk
What
has.
do you mean? It's right here, Article 4, Clause 3.
Paragraph 6, subsection B, sentence 6.
It's not to the same.
Yeah, I don't know. My thing with that is, COD could release with one map and it would still be a game. You know, it would be a game with 0 fucking content, but it would still be a game. So, I don't know. My take on maps is probably going to be a lot more relaxed than you guys because I came from Counter-Strike where I play 3 maps for 1,500 hours and I enjoy it. So,
I mean, that is probably our biggest criticism of all of Cold War at this point. Up until the campaign is probably just the lack of content. But once we have,
Back to your hypothetical, Josh, real quick. Like, I agree with what Squid said. We shouldn't even be in that situation to begin with. But if we are, I honestly think I'd take the mediocre maps just because of the variety.
Yeah, honestly, that's fair.
It's a little mind-numbing to play
Okay.
the same map for
No,
fucking days.
if you gave me Black Ops 4's maps with the mechanics of Cold War over what we got in this game in terms of maps, I would take that every day of the fucking week.
Yeah, same here.
Even if the maps are not great, at least I have variety.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's my response to your hypothetical. Is I definitely agree with what Squid's saying though. Like we should just be getting bangers, and we should get multiple too. We shouldn't just get one fucking map and then have to wait till fucking January, maybe February to get the next one.
And we should be getting multiple because I mean that's the standard they've set for themselves in past games. It's like why in a new game should I expect less than what I've gotten before?
Yeah. We're paying more than we used to pay and we're getting less. It's a little wild.
But I mean, like, I guess we could talk a little bit more about the gameplay because I mean, there's some stuff that we haven't even gotten into yet. I mean, they brought back the perk system this time around.
Yeah, perk system's good. They need to keep the perk system this way forever.
Well, because
The one big criticism is speed color.
Speed cola.
What?
What?
The machine for speed color. I don't like it. Get
Oh,
rid
the
of it.
machine.
It looks like something out of SpongeBob. It does look pretty funny.
Listen, it
Hey,
fits
man.
it fits the era.
Fuck
Yeah,
off.
that's-
Burn it.
That's the
that's
point.
a pro, not a con.
It fits the goddamn era, you uncultured swine.
No, but like it's
That was
the
deep.
perk system in BO4. We don't even need to talk about that. But this time around, I do appreciate that, you know, because for people like us, you know, well, for people who are not like us, rather, who are, you know, not going to play the game 24 hours on end, you know, every single day, right when the game comes out, you know, it's going to take quite a bit of time to actually progress through zombies and, like, you know, unlock everything.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. Like, that's one of the things I first noticed. Like, I appreciate the fact that the more I'm playing the game, I get better shit for playing it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm able to upgrade my perks. I'm able to upgrade my weapons, even my my field upgrades. It's very rewarding.
Which, like, if we look back to some of the initial Black Ops Zombies, it's like such a huge step forward in many ways. Because you look at it and you go, you start any zombies game in BO1, BO2, or I suppose maybe not BO2 with the fridge mechanic, but with a lot of the previous games, it would be you would all spawn on an equal playing field, whereas now you're rewarded for playing the game more. It's definitely a good thing.
Oh, for sure. And I love that they got rid of the perk limit this time around.
Yeah.
Like, you're able to just get all of the perks now that
you
are
can
on the map.
shell out the money for it, then yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I tried to get all the perks and I was like expecting to get the screen come up and say, "Oh, you know, you've got too many." I got all of them. I was like, "Oh!"
Yeah. I also like how the Wonder Fizz is literally just buy whatever the fuck you want.
No, yeah, like like they've made a lot of quality of life changes to the mode. I mean, like in previous games, you know, you had the ammo mods that were just completely random, and you would pack a bunch until you got the one that you want. In this, you just go up to the pack a bunch, pick which one you want. You know, go ahead.
I do have a criticism of how long it takes you to get out of the pack-a-punch machine, because like if you're in a high-stake situation where you're trying to quickly pack a punch a gun that's just run out of ammo,
No, the UI with like
It needs work.
going up and like crafting or buying armor or pack a punching is not good.
Like
Oh, yeah,
I've gotten used to how cancerous it is, but like it's bad and it needs fixed.
I can't tell you the amount of times I'm like being chased and I run to the armor station, buy armor, and then, you know, none of the keys get me out of the menu, and I can't press W to keep walking because my W key just gets locked out.
Yeah, it's inconsistent.
ASD to get out of it.
It's
And then
inconsistent.
by that point, I've already taken all the hits and my ammo's my armor's broken.
Yeah.
And it's like, why did I even fucking buy it in the first place?
Because sometimes it lets me walk with that menu open. It'll let me walk around, and other times I'm completely locked in and I can't move. So if I'm relying on walking away from the machine so the menu goes away and it doesn't happen, I'm like dead. But like other than that, it's like, okay, well, I have to press escape to fucking get out of this menu, and it's just like having to press escape in a high stakes situation, at least on mouse and keyboard. It's like a little bit of a annoyance because you have to reach all the way up, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's a stretch for me.
This is probably it's going to be a question that's like probably difficult to answer because we have no way of knowing. But do you reckon have we found all of the stuff with Cold War Zombies so far in D Machina?
What do you mean? Like we've
like
found
Easter
all
eggs?
this? In terms of Easter eggs, no, definitely not.
I think a majority of them have been found. I'll say that.
I don't
There's maybe
think.
one or two.
I'm
I
not
don't
sure
know.
there is a single map that we have discovered absolutely everything on. Maybe except for like the very first couple.
I mean, I don't mean everything, but I mean most of the important stuff or plots.
All the important stuff, yeah, sure.
I think a lot of the big stuff's been found.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the massive, weird fucking creature that spawns in? Like, was it around 50 or something like that?
Yeah,
I honestly don't even know anything about that.
I think it's actually around 45. I saw it myself. It's cool. I mean, it's apparently it has a lot to do with the lore and shit. It's not just a random fucking thing that happens. Like there's story behind
it's a
it.
mega.
It's an actually it's an elder god. I'll thank you to remember.
Excuse me.
I think that's the term that they are calling it, or I don't know.
Through
But-
the intel that you learn that they're elder gods, and that one of the people that get trapped in the ether was like, they were watching him and hesitant to go and attack him because they were like used to eating zombies or something. I don't know.
It's the only part of the story that's been like interesting to me is that one nugget. I'm like, okay, that's like Treyarch zombies. That part.
I think it's enough
Yeah.
to chew on. Yet. It's kind
No,
of like,
I think it's a setup for what's gonna come later.
But is there anything else about zombies besides that
Um,
it's really fucking good and that you should play it?
It is really fucking good. I will offer one final criticism that I know you guys will disagree with me with, and it is the shards. Is that I think that system is just going to be completely useless come whenever this game, like all the maps are out and like people have been
It'll
playing
for
it.
sure cap out eventually.
I think-
but I think
I think they
Unless
need to
they
add
like consumables.
they need to like add something onto it that allows you to continue to like use that system in some
Yeah, because
aspect.
No, I agree. I completely agree. I think I know that they're already for sure going to be adding more perks and more field upgrades and
Mhm.
such. But I would like. This almost sounds like I'm asking for microtransactions, but I'm really not.
yeah, please,
Yeah.
Treyarch.
Where are you going with this?
I want
But no, I
What?
do think there needs to be some kind of like consumable system that gives a reason for those Ethereum crystals to exist beyond, just to give the game a little bit more of a
Yeah,
like,
no, because as long as those are permanent, you're gonna cap them out.
Yeah, and like I appreciate what it is. Like I like that, but it's more to zombies, right? And like I'll like that no matter what. But like as someone who fucking plays it no life, obviously I have it all already, and that mechanic is completely now just gone for me. And now I no longer have something to do. And like that's why I said when the game's fully out, like all the maps are out and the season of Cold War's done. That's why I'm like concerned for that, because I'm like, at least like your casual players will experience that same thing and they'll be like, well, what's the point of this? It's like I'm done with it. I can't unlock anything more with this system. I did it all already. Like I don't know.
see, Black Ops 3 had and 4 even had that going for it, where it's like you were able to earn, the elixirs and the gobblegums, and that did ultimately spice up the gameplay quite a bit. Was those elixirs and those gobblegums?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like it's not a huge criticism, but that is one thing that I noticed that I was like, okay. Like
And one more minor criticism on my part: I don't like the objectives.
Yeah, well, like the markers or just the objectives in general.
I just do not like that it tells you what to do.
Yeah, I mean, me neither, man.
it reminds me a bit
We
of
got a libertarian here.
Go ahead,
No,
John.
like that's what we mean by like it. This feels like a little bit like Sledgehammer zombies. How much of this is really Treyarch zombies? I know I'm probably the only one here who's played Sledgehammer zombies, but in Sledgehammer zombies, it's quite literally the notebook system where like it explains, it tells you exactly what to do in order to like set up, get power on, turn on pack a punch, shit like that, and it's like. It's kind of part of the fun of like when a map first comes out, you kind of like explore and like find out how to do things yourself.
Yeah. I
So-
completely agree.
It's a minor thing, but don't like it, disavow, get rid of it. It's fucking bullshit.
Just give us an option to turn it off at the very fucking least. Like,
yeah,
let me
fair.
just turn off the markers. Like, I don't know.
You
It's
guys-
distracting.
Do you guys like to see Gobblegum reintroduced? And do you reckon, based off what they currently have, could they still introduce the Gobblegum system?
Honestly, like I think like with the game's mechanics now, adding gobblegums could
There's a
possibly
big-
break a lot of what the game is doing right now.
Yeah, it's hard
Yeah.
to say because gobblegums in general and elixirs just break the game like inherently, but it could be good if they do it right. Like they're gonna have to balance it, because like in Black Ops 3 they were certainly broken, and then in Black Ops 4 there was a lot of useless ones, and then the cooldowns on them were absolutely retarded, where you're getting to use one once per game, and it's like, oh, okay, well, that's useless. Like, so they need, if they're gonna bring it back, they need to find a nice like middle ground. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I could like it, but I don't want it to just completely break the game.
Did you see them coming back, do you think?
Possibly.
Honestly, no.
I think
don't-
from a monetary standpoint, if they wanted to, they could do it like that, and that would be the reason why. But I personally don't think they need it.
They're definitely going to add something monetary to zombies. We just don't know what.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're basically just biding our time.
From a gameplay perspective, I'm looking at it and I'm going, I don't think that you need them based off what you currently have, but with Activision at the head, you kind of like, I mean, money's pretty important as well, guys. So
Which honestly is a testament to how good they did with the game mechanics this time around, because they quite literally like ripped out something that was pretty important to the last two games, and they were able to compensate it well far and above with the new stuff that they introduced.
Yeah,
Like they really nailed it this time around. They did.
Treyarch needs to be commended for what they've done in the short amount of time that they had to like, for what we got, for especially for zombies though, like for sure.
For zombies, the other two, one of them they didn't even make, and one of them's fucking terrible.
Just think about how wild that is though, because we're going from like, Black Ops 4, it's like, oh, this is shit, and then you go into this and you're like, this has potential to trump Black Ops 3.
It does. It really does.
And that's kind of wild to say out loud, because like Black Ops 3 is the GOAT as far as zombies. So like, man, that's it's kind of crazy. I'm excited to see what the future has in store for Cold War zombies. It's looking good so far, I'll say that.
Which honestly is so, like, I'm so happy I can say that, because I was not as optimistic about it as I was before launch.
For sure.
Like, I was just like, I was basically just begging for something at least a little bit fun at that point, because after BO4, we hit the lowest of lows.
Oh yeah, they beat us down hard. Like, they brutalized us.
I think, like, ultimately, I would have loved Treyarch to have had more time. Because if this game, like, again, if you release zombies with, like, maybe not 2 maps, but if you're able to release the second map around about now when it should have been released, or, like, what is it? It generally releases in January, doesn't it, the second map?
Usually, yeah.
Oh.
I think that
guess-
lines up.
I don't know, I would have, like, I don't know if they're being banked as well as they could be, and I would have loved, I would love to see them go independent, to be honest.
If they could have just honestly released the game along with season 1, like season 1 could have just been base content stuff along with one more zombies map, and the game would be a lot better.
Yeah,
Like if the game just came out on the date of season 1, and season 1 wasn't season 1, it was just base game content plus
Mhm.
one more zombie map, and the game would be a lot better.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm currently seizing up a little bit because I'm realizing that we now have to talk about the campaign.
Oh boy, here we go.
Ah.
All right.
Where do we even begin?
Every
Yeah.
mission we go on is illegal.
A goddamn onion, Mason. You should know that.
you should know that.
Not a
See those
fucking
onions?
word, no.
Mason, you know this about me. I'm a fucking onion, man. Come on, look at me. I'm an onion.
We've got a job to do.
Oh.
All right, that's our review.
Non-binary pronouns. There we go. I think that's everything.
Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da.
Let's just have another hour of us just shit posting, and that'll be our review of the campaign.
Yeah. The
Can we?
the image on screen is basically just, that's our thought. the woods in the middle, not old man woods peering in the back, but the one in the middle, that's my face. Like when I see the characters in Cold War, I'm just like, oh.
Okay. So to the campaign's credit,
Yeah, let's
it
start
is
with some
not-
good shit.
it is not nearly as generic as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
There is some genuinely creative stuff in here, and I got to give them props to that because it was more than I was expecting. But the problem is that once I realized how much potential a lot of the stuff they were setting up and what they were going for conceptually, I was like, wow, this could have been so much better.
Yeah.
I think it just suffered from a lack of direction, and I don't know if that came from the campaign already being started by Sledgehammer, because this is something that I've thought about a lot. I feel like the campaign was primarily a Sledgehammer production, and obviously there's no way
Oh,
to know,
without a doubt, and you can see it.
Yeah.
there's no way to know for definite, I don't think, unless they came out and told us. In terms of like, I hate to say it, but you know, I don't love Woods, I don't love Mason, and I don't love Hudson. Like they
Well,
just seem
Mason
in
and
this
Woods were
game.
hardly even in this game.
Is
Yeah.
that a reference to a Ackman video?
no.
I think the only times you truly see Mason and Woods is in the 2 side missions.
Even then, those side missions are completely non-essential to the story. They're completely just tacked on.
They're
Yeah.
they're not essential, and they're also very, very short.
They're
purely fan service.
pure fan
Again,
service.
that's an idea of concept versus execution because I actually really like the idea that you have to collect evidence in like the main story missions and you have to like decipher and mess around with shit in order to unlock side missions. That's really cool. But man, the side missions are actually really short and inconsequential, and there's only 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess. Go ahead.
You said the word inconsequential. I don't want to talk about that until the very end. So
I guess like, yeah. We'll since there's not too much good stuff to say, we'll just get the good stuff out of the way, and then we can like move on to like characters or narrative after. I guess.
I think in terms of gameplay, the campaign is really fun to play.
Yeah,
I think
the engine
it's fun to
definitely
play.
is like good.
It had a lot of interesting maps. You know, none of them felt the same.
Yeah,
There was a lot of variety. You're right. Yeah.
The Soviet firing course.
that is a good
that was-
point.
Like there's
Yeah,
the Soviet firing course. There's the missions where you're like doing espionage and you're like sneaking into houses with like dart guns. It's cool. Like there's a lot of variety in the missions here, and in my opinion, in terms of gameplay, I think this is one of the strongest COD campaigns.
Yeah, like you're talking about like the espionage missions and stuff. The one when you're sneaking around like with the fucking tranquilizer gun. Like honestly, it was probably my favorite moment because I was just like, this is literally like almost like a James Bond like this reminds me of like a James Bond mission from like a James Bond game, and like. You're literally walking around with a tranquilizer gun, and you have like a little pack of cigarettes that's like a listening device, and like I just fucking love that shit so
No,
much.
it's so good, and I wish there was more of it. But
Yeah.
like, I mean, like on the gameplay front, I don't have any complaints. There's only pros there for me. It's this game's story where things get interesting.
Yeah.
I guess in terms of that, like I was incredibly upset that you didn't get to trank the kid.
Wow.
No, like when I was streaming the campaign and I heard the kid, I was like, please let me trank the kid. Please let me trank the kid. Please.
Like the first thing I did as soon as the dad comes downstairs, straight to the kid's door, like, come on, let me.
Come on.
And like the
I
other
got a
thing,
horse tranquilizer with your name on it.
Uh-oh.
definitely Cold War. Funny enough, true to its name, definitely like brilliantly. I don't say it's not personifies, but it reflects the Cold War era perfectly.
Yeah, it
Like,
does a
to
good
T.
job of that for sure.
That's the one thing that I can without a doubt say it's
I don't think
easily-
they made Reagan cool enough.
actually most of the
I-
files actually are for Reagan.
I agree with what you're saying, Josh, and honestly, it might even personify it more so than the previous Black Ops games. And
Like I
Yeah.
talk about loads. Like, what does this game do that other games haven't been able to do? And I would say that like being able to reflect the Cold War era, this game does better than any other game that I'm aware of.
yeah, it's got a nice a good soundtrack to complement that too, I think.
Mhm.
No, like I was so pleasantly surprised in the Vietnam mission when I didn't hear Fortunate Son.
Yeah, honestly.
I was
all right.
very,
That was
very-
well one of my big gripes with the campaign, though. The helicopter flying.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's different on controller because every vehicle seems to handle better on controller, but man,
Dude,
it just
Same
didn't feel
controller.
good.
that section is so funny to me.
I would have to swipe my mouse across my entire mouse pad like 5 times to turn 90 degrees.
So
It-
that helicopter section is actually hilarious because if you're anything you shoot, it just explodes. Like
Instantly.
they're in the cave systems, you just shoot bullets into it, just fucking fires flying out of the caves and shit. I'm like, Jesus Christ! You
Well,
shoot
well-
a house and the house explodes. I'm like, oh my
It also
god.
felt way
Grab.
too easy because I played the campaign on realism and
Same.
I didn't die once in that
See,
part.
here's why I didn't play on realism. I played on veteran for this one reason. Black Ops 3's campaign on realism is the dumbest fucking thing ever. You literally have 1 health. So I was afraid they were going to do that again, so that's why I didn't pick it. But I've heard what you just said from multiple people. I'm like, I should have just played on realism because it was fucking easy as
No.
hell on veteran.
No. Mission 5. It's called Echoes of the Cold War. It's the one in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
So easy.
That little part where you're airlifting the room out of the.
Oh my
out of
god.
the-
Yeah, you're right. I died on that part like 5 times.
Okay, playing that on realism, I died upwards of 50 times. I
Dude,
had
you're
to,
right.
I had to boil it down to a goddamn science. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, look right, shoot the barrel. Look left, shoot the barrel. Look up, shoot the 2 people left and center. It was bad, and on top of that, the part was bugged.
I
I
fell
would
through.
rubber band around back and forth
Yep.
across the airlift as it was going.
As
Yep.
it
I
was
would get stuck in the walls, and I would get shot at, and I wouldn't be able to see anything.
It was like,
That-
see, up until that point though, that mission was incredibly easy, and then that one segment was just
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that part now that you mentioned that. That was a little retarded.
You know that's my largest issue with the game. It's just that bug.
I guess I have another issue in terms of like we're talking about how easy it was to play on realism. See, having the sniper mechanic where you can slow down time is so easily
Yeah,
exploitable.
it's kind of broken. It's weird,
kinda-
right? Because Modern
It's
Warfare
cool though.
was it
Cool.
Modern
It's
Warfare's
like really
campaign was like actually like a challenge. Am I remembering that wrong?
Like on the harder difficulties, yeah, it was a challenge.
Like more so like not unfair is what I mean.
Yeah.
Like how other Call of Duties were like it's just weird that this one was like so easy.
Well,
I don't even know why.
It's-
There was some of the AI made incredibly retarded decisions at times where they would be in a position of cover where you're like, right, okay, well, I'm not going to advance on you just yet. I'll see what else I can get out of my way. And they would just leave their cover and run towards you, and you're like, what the fuck? It's kind of little things like that I appreciate in a game where if you're it takes away the tactical nuances of it to an extent because you're not it's literally run shoot as opposed to right, well, I'll take this point, I'll move on this point, and I suppose let's be honest, Black Ops was never really
I mean,
tactical nuance and so forth.
no, Black Ops is very much action movie shit. It's what it's always been, and it's very much this and this, which I'm glad they went back to. I'm glad that it's not ultra realistic like Modern Warfare was, because it's just not what Black Ops ever was.
I mean, the helicopter is pretty much personified.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely ridiculous and it's stupid and kind of retarded, but I love it.
Black Ops.
But I mean, as far as like gameplay goes, I would say that's like one of the few criticisms that's valid is like the difficulty is too easy. But besides that, I'd say like gameplay wise, it's pretty fucking solid.
Yeah, I don't have too many complaints with gameplay.
Are we?
But
with regard to-
story,
Do we want to go through it in a linear from mission to mission, or just kind of sporadically?
Okay. I say we talk
could.
about the things that we appreciate, because I have a feeling we're going to be talking about the things we have wrong with it a lot
Yeah,
longer.
we only have a little bit more things that we like to say, and then I'm sure we'll.
Don't worry, everyone watching. We're gonna talk shit
Yeah.
real soon.
I think the one big thing that everyone can agree on is that Adler's fucking awesome.
Adler's a really cool character. I like Adler.
He fits
Yeah.
in. He feels like he's from the other Black Ops games. Like he's a natural inclusion. Like he was a natural inclusion to this game.
Did anybody else get like Brad Pitt vibes from him?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Like
No,
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I quickly say that I've never seen hair that so brilliantly illustrates the 80s in my
Yeah.
entire life.
He's
Like everything about this.
he's an absolute Chad, and his voice actor fucking. I was gonna say
Killed it.
killed it. He fucking carried it. To be honest
He
with
did.
you.
He carried the storyline. He really did. Him and
Yeah.
Hudson's voice actor did great.
Yeah, whoever did Hudson's voice did an absolutely amazing job impersonating fucking Ed Harris's rendition of Hudson. So I can really appreciate that. He actually showed up and tried.
Also, as shallow as it is, all the references to Black Ops 1 made my cock throb a little bit.
But they shouldn't though, because they're trying to do. They're trying to pull on your heartstrings, and they haven't earned it.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't earn it, but man, when I saw that lighter at the beginning, I was like,
I like
"Aw."
the subtle references. I'll say that. Like the lighter, I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of people miss that. Like that's a really nice reference, I think.
Also, like, when you go back to the one mission from BO1 and like you pick up the crossbow from when Hudson was there from BO1 and you see the numbers, it's like it's cool shit like that I really appreciate.
But the thing is that I look at stuff like that, and I'm like, give me more.
I personally, I think I would like it if there was more to it than just
No,
there's
I
numbers on the
agree.
screen.
That's what I mean by like everything this game kind of like sets up, it just doesn't deliver on. But before we get into the negatives, but like it's just like I appreciate those being there, even though like once we get into the negatives, I'll explain why. Is like I wish they did more with it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I could make an argument for if they weren't gonna develop those things, I would have almost rathered had they not included them at all.
Well, I guess once we get into the negatives,
Yeah.
we'll talk about how Mason and Woods and Hudson didn't even need to be in the
Yeah,
game.
we'll
but-
get to it.
Still on positives, I really appreciated that the game let me choose my pronouns. That was
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say,
All right, guys. I think I'm done with this episode.
Yeah,
I'll
we're
see you
out.
later.
Thanks for
Bye,
watching,
Ethan.
guys.
Okay, but on the real though, like honestly, who cares?
No, it's not a
doesn't
big deal.
matter.
It literally affects the game. There's nothing that it affects in the game. They don't even mention gender or anything.
Yeah, no, it's especially the thing with like your background when you can choose like unknown or XKGB
Yeah.
or MI6.
So
They mention that in one sentence in the very end once they tell you the whole plot twist.
I was
horses
gonna
love
bring
that.
that up as actually a thing that I kind of like because, I like that they had like the kind of like the perk system like at the beginning. You kind of pick like some perks to go through the game with. Like I think that
Yeah.
added
doesn't
something.
it doesn't actually feel as if those things affect your gameplay too much because you don't know what it's like to not have.
Well,
or
yeah,
have
it's hard to
different
say
Yeah.
when
It's
when
like,
you only
for
play
all
through
you know-
once.
ones. All you know, those things haven't affected the gameplay at all.
It's just nice to know that there was like a little bit of variety there. That they at least
That's
tried. Black Ops 2 did it way fucking better, don't get me wrong, but
Definitely want to reiterate, like the pronouns.
Dude, is everything better than this game.
yeah.
As much as it's a meme at this point, the pronoun thing genuinely had no impact on the game whatsoever. And like for people
Yeah,
that
no, like I literally chuckled, but I was like, "Heh, that's funny," and then like that was it. But like the people who like make a genuine fuss about it, it's like, really,
There
It
are
kind of-
things to get upset about, and that's not one of them.
like Woods
Yeah.
said he was a fucking onion, and that Mason should know that. That seems like a bigger problem to me.
Yeah.
that seems in character. The GMC Burns' character would have said that.
Yeah. James C.
Yeah, no,
Burns
James
seems
C.
to
Burns-
agree, so. And the character
no.
was literally 100% based off of just him as a human being, so if anyone's going to know, it's him.
See, whenever you look at Old Woods is literally just GMC Burns.
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But anything else for positives when it comes to the storyline?
I like the part where oh man, I forget who it is. They take down the mannequin in the arcade.
Woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a charming moment. I like
Not
that.
a fucking word, Bell.
Just wish it had James C. Burns in it.
Yeah.
There is one more thing, and I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but you know there's a part in the campaign where if you, I think it's in the, I think it's in the first time that you have the briefing, you go into the red room, and also you like the subtle note, like.
Oh yeah,
subtle-
that entire mission, by the way, is great.
Oh,
I really like the Red Room mission. Like, I love how mind fuckery that shit is. I like
think
it.
that's actually one of the strongest points of the campaign. I think it felt. I hate to sound like a film critic here, but it felt like good symbolism, you know, because I remembered throughout all the missions that I played, the red doors that I walked into, but I didn't
TV.
associate anything with them until
I-
the last mission when there's the red door and it's walk in the doorbell.
Yeah. No,
And I was like, holy shit! And it actually felt like it was all coming together.
no, I agree. And I know you haven't played the previous Black Ops games, but the first Black Ops game is about a American who became a sleeper agent for the Russians. And this entire game is basically the reverse of that. It's a parallel, which I absolutely love. I fucking love the symbolism there. We'll obviously get into why I wish they capitalized on it more.
Yeah.
But
you know my
I
point
love
on that.
what they went for.
I really appreciated a lot of the subtle nods that they had to the characters not really trusting Bell. Like, there's
Yeah.
a part where you go to the red room at the bank, like Adler will come over and he'll like look at you to like, check up on you almost. It's pretty cool. You look at the clock in the red room at the back. See that now?
Yeah,
Well,
I noticed that.
Meme also brought up a pretty great moment. It was when you were talking to Sims,
Yeah.
I think his name is.
Yeah, and he,
And like a moment of genuinely good writing was when you talk about like Vietnam or something like that, and Sims was like, he was like, oh yeah, because you know we were both there, yeah, and Bell says something along the lines of like, yeah, that really fucked you up, didn't it? And he was like,
gets really
he's like,
defensive.
he gets really defensive about
Yeah.
that. It's like, what?
If you
fuck?
choose the dickhead line of dialogue, it's like, man, Vietnam defeated you. He's like, what the fuck would you know? And he's like, you know what? There's a lot of shit I could say right now that I'm just not gonna say. And he just holds his tongue.
Love the part where he
Yeah,
like,
but, like,
he's
context
like,
of that is like, you weren't even fucking there.
Yeah.
Don't talk about
"What's up there?" And he's like, wait, that was difficult for you as well. Oh yeah, of course it was difficult for you as well. Don't lie about it.
So there's some good moments in there.
I feel like we're kind of like, I don't want to say we're searching, but we're having to do a little bit of metal detecting here and there.
Well, yeah, 'cause there's not nearly as much good as there is bad. So it's like we gotta say all the good things before we just tear into it.
Taking the silver out the gold, or shit, I should
But
say.
is that all? Is that all we got?
I'd say
I
so.
think so, man.
Fuck.
Can I raise my first criticism? The fuck is my Galil?
Shut the fuck
Okay, Josh.
Okay, anybody have any real criticisms?
No, the game's perfect.
Okay, all right, that's it.
10 out of 10.
You just don't understand the subtext of when Frank Wood said that he was a fucking onion.
Yeah.
Subtext.
I'm just gonna right off the bat, the mischaracterization of Woods and Mason just had me fuming.
It's
like right
Yo,
off the
bro,
bat.
how you doing, bro?
Like
Oh,
Ethan, for context, like again, like I don't know how much you know about the other Black Ops games, but they
he's
are
not played the other game, so
they're very strong characters as far as Call of Duty standards go. Like they're very
Sure.
well written characters in the other games. Like they're by far the best characters in all of Call of Duty history. Those two.
Tried everything you could to undermine that.
And like Cold War takes it and just like does the South Park meme, like where they just like Spielberg and Lucas just fucking rape the characters, and then they're just like, it's like, oh, why? What was even the purpose of like, like what was the point in including them other than for fan service? I don't know.
because they serve
Well,
quite literally no purpose in
yeah,
the story.
Yeah.
it's so bizarre. And then because like all the marketing is like, dude, look, it's fucking Woods. Dude, look, it's fucking Mason.
It's
Dude, look, it's fucking
Mason.
Hudson. It's like,
Well, then they probably put him in the game just so they could market him. Honestly,
it's just like I
really
don't know. It's like it baffles me.
'Cause
Like,
they
my
can't market
standard-
Atlas, they can't market Sims, and they can't market the British girl or the
Puck.
other guy.
My standing theory is that originally the game was Sledgehammer's campaign, and they were only going to have like Adler and his crew, and you played as Bell, and the story was going to revolve around those characters alone. But Treyarch picked this game up halfway through, and they're like, "Oh, it's a Cold War game. Shit, we should tie this into Black Ops." All right, throw Woods and Mason into there last second, and that's why they have no bearing on the story whatsoever.
I kind of feel like you see, I kind of noticed that with regards to the operators, for example, where I think it's what 6 and 7, where it's 6 for the Warsaw and then 7 for the good guys, let's say, and it's just like Woods is tacked on the end of it.
Yeah.
Kind of, it just didn't really. It's a bunch of little things in the game where it's like
Well,
if
yeah.
you weren't in the game, we wouldn't like.
It-
Would it be a better game for it?
It's funny because like Hudson and Mason aren't in NATO, but like Woods is. It's just strange. Like I don't know.
I mean, I can understand Hudson being in the game because that makes sense considering the CIA connotations. but
Hudson makes
having,
sense. Like Hudson feels like a natural inclusion, in my opinion.
But Mason and Woods, it's like, why are you guys here?
Yeah, like because realistically, right? Like Hudson doesn't need this other group because he like Mason and Woods are like his special operatives. Like they're not in the CIA, but they like work for the CIA as like operatives. So like he would just use those two, and they would go on a fucking warpath. You know what I
Well,
mean?
that's why they don't even show up until like they show up at the beginning of the game, in the middle of the game, and at the end of the game.
Yeah. And like,
remember us still here. We could have had.
every time I want to talk about Mason, the first thing I always want to mention is in the first mission when the dialogue option finally pops up, and then he doesn't
God.
say the lines, and it just like it literally pulled me out of the game so quickly. Like a record scratch happened in my fucking brain. I was like, wait, did he just
I
not
had the
say the
exact
line?
same moment. I had
Oh,
the
you
exact
guys-
same moment in the live stream where I was like, "You have the voice actor. Why not have him say the lines?"
Not only do you have the Mason voice actor, he has like barely any lines in the fucking game as it is, dude. Like, come on.
And he's an established character.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking about this for a while, and this is like something that I despise whoever made the decision for, is that they didn't have James C. Burns and Sam Worthington return.
Mm-hmm.
That seriously put a serious damper on the story. It
Yeah.
really did.
I think
Correct.
literally everyone is in agreement, especially about James C. Burns not being Woods.
Do you think part of the reason as to why those two weren't brought back is because of how minor and inconsequential they are? Where they thought, we don't really need to pay somebody this much to do this little. 'Cause
So
they have no.
I completely disagree because they did absolutely nothing in BO4, but
Yeah.
they brought them back.
I was about to say, I would agree with you if it wasn't for Black Ops 4. They brought them back for Black Ops 4, and their lines were just like, they had like none.
They're not supposed to play a much bigger part in terms of the campaign or something with the.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I'd have to look into that myself. I'm not 100% sure. But what we
Alright,
got,
what do you guys-
wasn't.
What do you guys think the worst line in the game is?
An onion.
You know what? Honestly, the worst line for me, I think, is Mason talking to Hudson about the brainwashing. It feels so like,
Brainwash
yes,
people.
I get it. You brought Mason back, and now you're mischaracterizing him, and it's like, why are you doing this? Yeah, you must know a lot about that, Hudson, huh? You like to manipulate people, huh? Huh, Hudson. Mason would like give. Here's what Mason would have actually done, and fuck, if this was the real Mason, they would have been talking about that, and Mason would have gave Hudson this fucking like cold look, and he wouldn't have said shit. He would have just gave him a fucking dirty look, and he's like, you know what you fucking did. He wouldn't have said anything. Like he wouldn't have been like, yeah, you
Mason-
manipulated me. I didn't like that very much. That hurt my feelings.
Mason has like an ego in this game, but he never did in the past games. Like
Dude.
his first line is like, "You know who we are." It's like
Yeah.
he would never say that.
He would never say that. He is like, he's respectful to people who are in power, who like are in charge of him, and then and he's also like, he's like a selfless person when it comes to like his friends, you know what I mean? Like, or at least like he doesn't put himself like on any sort of pedestal. And in this game, he's like, yeah, like we're a couple of like badasses or whatever, dude. So like, yeah, just take my word for
Okay,
it.
but
You
talk
literally
about
have-
at the end of the first mission when Woods looks you dead in the eye and he goes, "Who the fuck is Perseus?" Like, man.
Who the
the fact that they gave you the option to fanboy over Mason and Woods, and that entire like section was like, oh.
It is just, it makes me it's not even cringe. It just like makes me sad.
I wanted to like it, but it was just like, this is not Mason and Woods. This is not how they act.
Yeah, they just, Mason throwing up a shaka sign was what broke me in that moment. I was like,
Boy,
I don't think Mason would do that. I don't think Mason would ever have small talk, to be honest with you. That doesn't really seem like his
no,
character.
they're very like they're both very, they have, it's almost like bitter banter back and forth, but that's just like their friendship. That's how they express to each other,
Yeah.
and it worked. Like, and they looked in the past, I think Actman said it best, they look on the past like with some sort of like melancholy fondness.
Yeah. That's what made their relationship so good,
you know,
and like kind of relatable, honestly. It's just like,
Friends, relatable. All right.
it's just like, because like, you know, the shit that they go through. It's like when you make a friend in that scenario, it's like you're not gonna be like buddy like best friends. Like, you have this respect for each other, and you look out for each other, but you're not like, hey best buddy, we're best friends, we hang out all the time and tell each other funny jokes. It's like, no, they like went through fucking hell together. They have a mutual respect, but they don't have this like buddy like best friend relationship on screen.
Hundreds of
I
people
know it's
together,
not a.
like several times together, and they have this, hey broski. and it's
Hey,
like,
I'm going in with my boy here. He's a fucking killer. It's like,
oh, thank-
all right, Woods. I don't think Woods would ever fucking say that. If anything, Woods would be like, yeah, I got this dipshit coming along. I got to dragging him behind me. Like, he would say something like that. He wouldn't fucking like put Mason up on a pedestal like that. The only reason why he does that in Black Ops 2 is because, you know, he thinks Mason's fucking dead. So he's like looking back with like this fondness, like what Squid said. Like, you know, he's fucking gone. So he's like, yeah, your old man was the shit. He was fucking crazy, but he was the shit.
and he still takes a piss out of him. It's
Yeah,
like,
and he still
see that?
does. Yeah. The ugly one, that's your fucking dad.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
It's awesome. And I think a
feel
lot
like
of that, honestly, is James C. Burns. Like, I feel like he
Oh,
has a
yeah,
heavy
for sure.
influence on the dialogue, because he, man,
That was one of the things with Cyberpunk. Like, some of the Johnny Silverhand lines were so shit, and I was like, Keanu Reeves has to have some sort of say in this.
I imagine so. I don't know, but I just, I don't know, man. It like I get it. They don't have a huge role, so it's not that big of a deal. But at the same time, someone like Actman, who like loves the Black Ops series more than anyone and like knows them in and out, he shouldn't be
surprised
looking.
me at how much he liked the representation of the
Yeah.
characters in this.
He shouldn't be looking at that scene where they're arguing and being like, man, I love Hudson. Man, I love Woods. Man, I love Mason. He should be like, what happened to these characters? They are just like shells of their former selves.
Sounds so, like Mason's voice actor is dog shite.
I mean,
Oh,
he doesn't even try, man. He really doesn't even try.
No, I've said this before. Like, at least the Woods voice actor tries.
Yeah.
But man, Mason just sounds nothing like Sam Worthington. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. It's like
His previous self either. He like looks like a fake person.
he doesn't
But
look like Mason at all.
I replayed Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 before Cold War came out, and man, Sam Worthington and James C. Burns unironically gave phenomenal performances
Oh
in
my
those
god,
games.
yeah. Just
Like,
so good.
So Sam Worthington really shined in Black Ops 1, and James C. Burns fucking killed it in Black
Yeah.
Ops 2.
He carries Black Ops 2 by far. Oh, well, actually, not in the bad way, because the dude who voices Menendez is fucking phenomenal as well. But
Oh, yeah.
like, I just like carry as in like Mason definitely like has to carry the load in Black Ops 1, and then like Woods definitely does that job in 2.
Oh, I love what I love about Cold War is how it's made me appreciate those older games and those older voice actors and all of
For
the
sure.
games
Yeah.
so more, where it's like it's got to a point where, ironically enough, you look back at BO1 and BO2 with a melancholy fondness.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, like I just like I don't know what Sam Worthington's opinion is on like video games and voice acting, but I hope he knows how good of a job he fucking did for a Call of Duty protagonist. Like he just like
He
it's
did
so
not have
much
to try
better.
that
Yeah, I know. Like he did not have to do that fucking good. Like I don't know
Like,
how much he was getting paid, but dude, my guy killed it. Like he did not have to go that hard. It's crazy. It's so weird to me. Like you got man Sam Worthington, and he's just an amazing voice actor. How the fuck does that work?
Where am I? Where's Reznov?
Kiss my ass. Where am I? Where's Reznov? At least they didn't fucking bastardize Reznov in this game at all.
True.
I'm not worried about it. Look, so what's Gary Oldman doing these days?
I don't know. Commissioner Gordon, I think he's retired.
Probably recovering from like the 40,000 cigars he smoked while filming as Winston Churchill.
He'll never recover.
I'm debating in my head whether we talk about the actual story itself first or the consequences of your decision and so forth.
I mean, if we're still on characters, there's just one last thing. Like, well, first of all, actually, to go back, the Gorbachev line where he's like saying like we're in grave danger of the capitalists. That's another nod that I like.
Yeah, it's nice reversal.
That's not one that I rolled my eyes at or anything. Like I thought that one was like, because like honestly, like your typical Call of Duty gamer isn't gonna like. I feel like they wouldn't pick up on that. Maybe I don't know.
They would.
Though it is kind of like a memed line, so maybe. But like, I just think that that's like a nice little nod. That part. It doesn't make me roll my eyes. However,
or how about that? This is now that Modern Warfare.
Yes. That's what I was gonna get into. I was gonna say what does make me roll my eyes is when Zakhaev just shows up in Black Ops, I guess.
And ironically, whenever I seen him, I was like, "Wait, that's not. Is that? No, the spell.
Surely this is just another Russian guy with the same name."
Yeah.
I go back and check to see if the spelling's the same, and I was like, "Oh no, see."
Yeah, because what like when you do that mission, if you go into this like room before you go to that meeting, you can hear somebody mention Zakhaev, and like I was like, huh, they have like a little.
Yeah, no, I had the exact same moment as you again, where I was like, probably a little.
I was like, oh, that's probably like a
then,
Easter egg or reference or
and
something.
I walk into the meeting room and he's there, and I'm like, oh.
You walk in, sit down, and then when your character looks up and straight ahead, it just says Zakhaev. You're like, okay, what? This is a little strange. I don't know what to make of that. It's weird.
Very strange.
It felt like it didn't need to be there. Like I don't.
It comes back to the fan service thing, where it's like it doesn't need to be here, and it like taken it out of the game doesn't in any way affect the game.
It doesn't change the game.
It's completely inconsequential, and ultimately is just fan service, which
Yeah.
achieves nothing.
Did they just want a moment where fucking Adler just can knock him out like a badass or something? Like, I don't know. What was the point?
But before we move on about that mission was fucking great. How it gave you so many different options to approach.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the best missions in the game, if not the best.
Yeah.
It was really good. And I like how it was quite literally an homage to No Russian. It's literally No Russian.
Yeah.
My biggest issue with that mission, though, don't get me wrong, I love the attention to detail. See, whenever I was playing that mission, it was you guys have watched Chernobyl, right?
Yeah.
No.
Well,
I have.
Chernobyl is basically set in the same era, and it genuinely executes that era perfectly. Whenever I was going through the mission, And I guess we'll get into this now. With regards to replayability, every single outcome gets you to the same position with no ramifications for any of your decisions. So, like, what I would have liked is in that mission, if you like slipped up or if you left a body somewhere, there'd be heightened security, or it would impact the story in some way, or it would make the mission later on more difficult in certain aspects. Um, with regards to like maybe you could have had like loose ends that you had to tie up, but all of the choices that you could make still got you to the same position in the end anyway. So it's like
Yeah,
it's nice.
Are we still
Okay.
talking about Cold War or is this Cyberpunk? Jeez.
Wow, dude.
No, in Cyberpunk, your choices actually do matter because
Yeah.
it actually affects how the game, like it affects the story of the game. In this, I cannot say the same.
No.
Dialogue, right? You see that the very start of that mission, wherever you go in, and you see Kravchenko and with another fan service moment. You see Kravchenko and Gorbachev and Sakayev, and they ask you how you found the mole or anything. And again, no matter what you say, it'll not impact the rest of the mission. And
No,
it should.
this game is cock full of the illusion of choice.
Mm-hmm.
This game was marketed to be similar to BO2, which is an absolute fucking travesty and a joke. Because you look at this game and the quote unquote options that you have, you have one option in this entire game that makes a difference, and it quite quite clearly simply says truth or lie. The game gives
Well-
you fuck all reason to choose lie, only for
Yeah,
the fact that people
I-
are like, you know what, let's
the
do
funny
it.
thing is,
I completely
no,
agree.
yeah, that's the funny thing is that like when I was streaming my playthrough, I chose the bad ending only because I knew Meme chose the good ending. Like, I wanted to choose truth because the game gave me absolutely no reason to lie to Adler,
Yep.
but I did it quite literally out of spite, just so I could see the other ending. And I mean, every choice leading up to that has no consequence whatsoever. That's the only choice that matters in the game.
Even right,
And-
you see even the
And the
side
thing that pisses me off about it, right, is like I can at least understand if they wanted to come at it from the perspective of like, all right, well, this has to be canon within the Black Ops universe, so we can't, go crazy with it. But obviously, they proved with the bad ending that they don't care about canon, so they could have just done anything with it.
I can't believe that you said you teared up a little whenever you shot Mason Woods.
Dude, I was sad.
Dude, when I played through that shit,
Like, tearing up
oh,
now.
bro, bro,
Laughing.
I played through that for the first time. I think Josh, you were watching me, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, again, I think it's probably a little different than what you experienced because like you're sitting there like experiencing it by yourself or whatever. But like, dude, when the first person I killed, when I saw them go flying backwards at like breakneck, I was like, oh my god! I started cracking up, and then like I fucking like killed Woods or whatever, and Mason's like, oh my god, they got Woods, what the heck? And like as I like. Didn't I like melee kill Mason or something? I like ran up and like did a takedown on Mason. I was like,
It's clear, I did not tear up, but I did get a little emotional when I heard Woods cry out for Mason after I shot him. I was like, no.
There was some footage that I seen where
I'm
there's
sorry,
a guy
little one.
behind Mason and he uses Mason as a shield,
oh my god,
and Woods just kills Mason.
Woods kills Mason.
I'll send you after the video. I
Yeah.
love it so much.
That so the solution that I provided for the endings, right? I said that just make the game a little bit longer, and then once you get to that moment, there's a crossroads, and like you go to these like flashback missions where you then play as Bell alongside Perseus, and whether or not it's like one mission, two missions, or like three missions, however many you want to give it, at the very least fucking one, right? Just have them develop Perseus's relationship with Bell and give Bell a reason to want to lie to Adler instead of just saying like, huh, I'm going to do the bad ending, I'm going to be evil. It's like that's the only other reason why you would, cuz like other than that all you have is Bell hearing in the back of his head, he's like, "Don't trust Adler. Don't trust Adler." It's like, why? Why shouldn't I?
That would be really interesting if, like, as soon as you found out that you were that, then, like, I don't know, the game gives you this influx of memories, and then you play through a bunch of missions
Yeah.
as the KGB Bell.
Yeah, that's because I think that's the only way they could have did it with that structure. I think it was like,
Yeah, because then you would have seen both sides, and it
yeah,
wouldn't have been
and
like,
then
spoiled. Early.
right, and then you're then faced with the decision. You're like, okay, I could actually reasonably see why I would choose either of these
Yeah.
decisions at this point. Like if
Well,
he's like a father figure to Bell or something along those lines. Like I don't know.
Well, this is like another thing where like this game would have greatly benefited from making Bell an actual character.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't know why. Like we need to stop with the silent protagonist thing. Like
Yeah.
COD learned from that after Black Ops. We've learned from this.
Yeah, we
It's-
learned that Mason is an amazing Call of Duty protagonist. So why the fuck
The thing
not?
is- But the issue is that requires a very high degree of work. It's not, you can't just make a Mason. You have to work your ass off to
Well, you have
make
Well,
to-
it's not- we're not saying just make a Mason. We're saying it's like we know how good a Call of Duty protagonist can be. So don't give me the silent protagonist bullshit.
Yeah,
Stop.
enough of
But
that.
you know why they probably did it, just so they
Frodo.
wouldn't have to hire 2 voice actors, one male, one female.
Yeah, and so that
So
they can
what-
have these
They-
half-baked.
they wanted to have you be able to choose your pronoun or your gender or whatever, just so that they could be lazy. Because if they only hired a male protagonist for the voice acting, they'd get shit.
And like I
Well,
had,
Harry just so happened to not be able to talk. Yeah, he was.
That's
mute.
why you just get rid of the fucking shitty customization mechanic
Yeah.
because it doesn't really matter.
it doesn't
anyways.
matter
You
that
just
much anyway.
Get
yeah.
rid of it. Make Bell an actually established character.
Yeah, like I talked to Squid about this before too. Like, I think the game could have actually been really fucking good if Bell was an actual character because if you implemented Mason into the story like in an actual good way, you could have had them have some sort of like weird dichotomy like that because like Mason was obviously experimented on with the numbers and Bell's experimented on with the code words and the doors and whatnot. So like you
They're
could
both
have
sleep rates.
yeah, you could have had like some sort of like relationship between the two where like Mason like him and Mason like relate in some ways even though like obviously they're polar opposites in some they're polar opposites but they're very much alike at the same time cuz they both went through like the same thing but on different sides. So like they could have made Bell very interesting and they could have had a really cool moment with like Mason and Bell and Mason being the only one who understands like what he's going through or whatever. Like they could have did something with that, but like having him be a non-voiced protagonist that like it just doesn't work, especially for Call of Duty.
Also, like Mason's like I don't. Mason as a character feels so disconnected from where he was previously in Black Ops. Because I mean, like if like from the ending of Black Ops 1, we're led to believe that he assassinated Kennedy,
Yeah.
and like, are we just not going to touch on that? Like, are we just...
Are we gonna pretend that Mason's just fine? Because other than picking up a few items in that snow mission, you see numbers. There's no indication that Mason's even under any brainwash of any
Literally,
kind
the only
anymore.
indication you get is like in the cutscene before where he hears Steiner's name and you can like hear it in his voice a little bit where he's like kind of losing it.
See, that was like you see in. I've lost my train of thought there. I was like,
It's all right.
dwelling on that for a long period of time.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. It's just weird because like having Mason almost appear as normal. He comes off as just like plain Jane in this game in every aspect.
Yeah,
Like-
no, that dude has some baggage, all right? Like it's not.
Oh my god, yeah. Jesus.
That was like one of the things that we pointed out in our like I guess precursor to Cold War was they can't ignore that Mason has potentially killed JFK.
Yeah.
Wanted them to dive into this ever since Black Ops 2 because that is so damn interesting. Like
We said
Like,
before that could genuinely be a game in and of itself. Like
it
that entire.
could, it definitely could.
Mm-hmm. It's
Could you
Like,
imagine-
it's
why not
strange.
dive into Mason's psyche and see how he's dealing with and like coping with the fact that he killed his own president?
Does he even know that he killed his own president?
Tried.
That's a valid question as well.
Like, God, could you imagine they made a COD campaign?
Like, just at least address it.
Could you imagine they made a COD campaign where you're Mason and you killed JFK?
The only reference to
Why is that?
You killed the president.
the only
Was he a
reference
Republican
to
or a
it
Democrat?
is the
Oh, no, stop.
literally the only reference to JFK is the code for the fucking door to get to the terminal. And it's
sure.
like, dude, at the very fucking least, they could have had like I don't know, a TV playing like his fucking funeral or some shit. Like, I don't know. They could have had something.
They play the scene where he gets shot. Yeah,
Dude, they I mean, they literally went above and beyond in Black Ops 1 in that aspect.
Lee Harvey Oswald in the background and all. It's like,
Yeah. I don't know. It's just
The
just
attention
weird.
to detail in Black Ops 1 campaign, it's
so
second to
good.
none.
It's so good. It's strange how this is where we're at in 2020 with this game, and it's like that came out how long ago?
Fucking onion, Mason.
it's like this game is a
Fucking onion.
step back. In terms of the campaign, not in terms of zombies or like multiplayer is like I would almost throw it in with the campaign and say it's a step back from like BO1 and BO2. The fact that people are alluding to people are saying, oh, you have choice in Black Ops Cold War. No, you have an illusion of choice.
Yeah.
You have this like all of the character dialogue means nothing. It doesn't change your relationships. It doesn't make people more likely to help you or less likely. It doesn't influence missions. You see, even the side missions that are optional, which quote unquote get you the best ending.
Mm-hmm.
How's that done in the game? Do you get to see a scene? Do you get to see the
It's literally done in the most lazy way they possibly could have done it.
have Ronald Reagan and Mr. Black and they sit and talk about, oh well, yeah, you killed these people, well done, and now
Well,
we're okay in this area.
You did this. It led to this. Well done. It's like, oh, that's all right. That's my payoff.
Appreciate it. Whereas
In Black Ops 2, every decision you make changes
it-
the course of that game's story.
It's vital. Like literally every decision is straight vital to the ending.
you have like almost like to an extent, you have choices in that game where you have like at the time at least, at first time of playing, you're looking at the decisions and going, I have reason to choose both like either option here.
There's moments in that game where if you don't pick up like a piece of intel, that changes your entire ending.
Oh yeah.
Like I think it's the Mason mission where where they try and get Menendez and Woods kills Menendez's sister. There's like intel if you don't pick it up, you get
Yeah,
worse.
don't pick it up. Yeah,
Yeah, the CIA document or whatever.
but the CIA mole. Yeah.
Game designers are getting lazy.
It's just
Yeah.
it's like little shit like that we took for granted, and especially in a Call of Duty game too. It's just like, and now we have this, and it's like, dude, those games are like
relying more on
masterpieces by comparison.
Yeah, they're relying more on gameplay and technology and hoping that you don't notice that the plot is all
It's like-
wacko.
I said prior to this game, like the one thing was this game can't top BO1 or BO2 because you're never going to be able to recreate something like Woods killing Mason. Just it can't be done, I don't think. And,
No, and I think those expectations were set.
Yeah.
but I feel like even the expectations that we did have underwhelmed. The story, I suppose, should we get into what the story actually is? Because I don't think we've explained it really.
Sure.
The thing is that the story is pretty simple.
Oh yeah, it's basically Modern Warfare's plot, but fucking half baked. Honestly, like if you boil it down, like that's literally what it is, and like you have fucking Perseus, who isn't even like a villain, who isn't like developed in any way, shape, or form, over like someone like Makarov or Zakhaev, who's actually like developed.
It is pretty crazy when you think about it. That's like the first time in a while in a COD campaign that we haven't had like a villain.
Yeah.
I still want to believe that Adler is Perseus.
Yeah, Adler is still Perseus, and you can't change him.
Nico asked what we think are the best overall Black Ops game is.
Black Ops 1, easy.
That's a good question.
The
Yeah.
best campaign,
That's a good question. Yeah, honestly, it's close for me, but I have to put Black Ops 1. Its story's just so fucking good.
The story on BO1 is by far the best. I don't think we'll get a better story in the rest of every games they make in Black Ops.
I'd be surprised if they trump Black Ops 1's story with another Call of Duty campaigns.
I doubt they'd be able to do it.
Yeah.
The thing is, you look at BO2's campaign. It holds a candle, but it's not quite as good because what it does is
Close. It is admirably close.
it's crazy that it was able to get close considering how good BO2 is or BO1 is, and it
Mhm.
proves that it can be done. But how it did it was by giving you actually choice within the game. You were able to make decisions.
Choices that have consequences.
Also still had the characters that you loved and adored, and they weren't bastardized as they were in Cold War. It was able to hold a candle because of these new things that they added in. Despite some of the characters here and there being somewhat vanilla, you still had Woods and Mason picking up the slack for some of the more, I guess, monotone characters.
Admiral Briggs is the best Call of Duty character and probably the best character in gaming history.
Cocksucker! Somebody get this cocksucker off my podcast.
Hey, did I ever say that Briggs wasn't the best character in Call of Duty?
I'm just saying that you were saying some of the characters were vanilla, and I was just clearing the air that
I was
you're
referencing
not,
right?
you're not talking about Jesus himself.
Yeah, like I think David Mason leaves a little to be desired, especially trying to fill Mason's
I don't
shoes.
think he's bad.
He's definitely not bad, and I actually really like how he has things like kind of easy going for him throughout his missions in Black Ops 2, but then as it goes on, dude, shit like hits the fucking fan for that guy. Like he gets pushed to the fucking brink in some of those missions. Like it's wild. Like I never realized how crazy it was till I replayed it recently. I was like, oh my god, this dude almost dies like 3 separate times.
That's that's indicative of great storytelling where you get to the end, right, and you could reasonably believe whether he kills Menendez or takes Menendez in. He has just reason to do either. He's sitting there with a gun and he's like, you can completely and utterly believe that he would kill this guy at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
In the best ending, his best friend's been killed. His he's been betrayed by one of his mistrusted allies. The entire country's fucked. He's found out that this guy's the reason why his dad's dead. He's fucked up his men.
But you can also completely buy that he would spare him just as much.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, man.
I come back to Cold War and it's truth or lie, and you have no reason to lie. And it's
the
game almost didn't need branching storylines. Like the game without branching storylines would be the exact same game.
Yeah.
Or one ending.
It's weird, and like that's why I don't think David Mason is like a bad character either, because if anything, he's like a good catalyst for the player, because obviously Mason's like our boy and he's fucking Mason's son.
David Mason really represents what you're supposed to be thinking.
Yeah, like he really like it actually is like kind of genius, because like you're pissed about those events just as much as him, and he has every right to be pissed about them because of who he is involved with the story. Like they did it really well, honestly. Like I feel like David Mason might be actually a little underappreciated now I think about it more.
Yeah.
Also, Nico asked if we think World at War, which is better, World at War or Black Ops 2?
That's okay.
Black Ops.
World at War is. I feel like it's an incredibly, for its time. If we're judging it based off its time, it's.
In my opinion, World at War has not aged incredibly well.
For what it was at the time, it achieved so much in a short space of time, where it had like the aspects of history, it had the innovations of bringing zombies into it, how that's evolved into what
zombies was definitely the best thing that World at War was able to bring us. In my opinion, in terms of the campaign, the multiplayer didn't really do all that much special.
I think World at War's campaign's pretty damn good, but
it's good. But
the problem is that the American side is a little lackluster. Like it's fun to play, but like the character just isn't there. Like when you have like Reznov, like he fucking carries World at War by far.
Like if you're gonna talk about a game with story, I mean Black Ops 1 and World at War, there's no comparison.
Yeah, I really like they've kept it going throughout the Black Ops series, but in World at War I think they do it the heaviest with like all like the war footage and like implementing like real world events within this like world that they made. Like it's fake, but it's real, and like I really like how historically like accurate they tried to be.
In my opinion, Black Ops One has the best of both worlds, where like it uses real world events, but it injects some of its own flair into there, where like it just makes it, because I mean, like ultimately you're trying to tell a story here as well, you know. And but if like you stick like strictly to, all right, well it's only going to be historically accurate, there's going to be no embellishment whatsoever, it's like, well, that's not going to make for like a really entertaining story.
And that's why I think World at War is good though for its time, considering what it was what came before it. Like all the other Call of Duty games didn't really have too much of a story to them, whereas
Yeah.
like World at War finally started to like try to like implement like, okay, this really happened, but also here's these like characters that were involved in this like contained story or whatever. Whereas like COD 4 definitely had a story, but like it didn't really get developed until like Modern Warfare 2. Like
See, like
the
I know
pieces
that
were
we
there, but they didn't really do much with it.
I know we shit on the Ankman a little bit at the start of this video, but you see some of his reviews of those games are brilliant.
Oh
Like
my
there's
god,
some
yeah.
Great, really good.
They're super
feel like
insightful.
one of the best comments that I can remember from his reviews were the reason why those games are rated M are because you need to be mature to understand the history of those games.
Yep.
Like if you're a kid and you're watching Lee Harvey Oswald in the background while you're talking to John F. Kennedy, you're not going to appreciate that as
It
much
means
as
fuck all. You don't even know what you're. You don't even know what you're seeing. Like
like
they had
why
like
am I
John. They had JFK's like funeral too. It's like you don't even know what you're seeing at that point when you're a kid.
You don't even know what the ending is.
No,
Like you
that
don't
ending
know
doesn't
who
mean shit to a
it
kid.
is.
a Polaroid with Mason on it? I don't get it.
It's like, why is there really
That
epic
shit
music
gave me
playing right
chills
now?
when I grew up, man. It really, it's one of those things where like, because I first played the game when I was a retarded little kid, you know, and but then I came back when I was older and I understood more things, and man, that ending still gives me chills.
Yeah,
I feel
it does for me as well, especially when they play like the little World at
The
War
World at War
theme.
theme,
Yeah, it's fuck. Oh man, that's
it's
brilliant.
literally the zombies round change music as well.
Mm-hmm.
again we come back to it about how we'll look back on those games in 10, 20 years and still consider them to be incredible. Like even
Yep.
if we go right, well maybe like say hypothetically the gameplay is incredible in the future, we'll still have the story. We'll still have what those games achieved and so forth, and the historical element and value to them as well. You can never take those things away. In terms of Cold War, it doesn't have those things, and definitely not anywhere near to the same extent.
No, there's not much that like, you know, like 5 years from now, like what was great about Cold War? Uh,
Built the era of the 80s, I guess.
the gameplay was cool, I guess, but like if you're talking strictly in story terms, there isn't much to remember. Like
One thing I'd argue is that zombies could, I don't want to say redeem this game, because I don't think it's been an utter. I, I don't want to call this game a complete and utter failure, especially not considering we've.
no. Okay, so like I want to put this in perspective, all right? Cold War is one of the stronger Call of Duty campaigns in comparison with the others.
It's like if Modern Warfare is a 7, then this game's a 6.
Like
If
if we're gonna talk about like, you know, Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, uh, Modern Warfare 3, like those campaigns in comparison to this, in my opinion, this campaign shits all over all of those.
Yeah.
it's still like if we hold it to the standard of what like obviously not the best that a COD campaign can be, because I don't know if those dizzy heights are really attainable, but you still have to put it in context and go, this is still like, as much as we've had a bunch of shit other games, this is probably still an average game overall,
It's among the stronger of in the series.
which doesn't really say much for the series.
Yeah. We've had a couple of bangers.
Mm. I
Outside
do
of
feel
that,
like
not so much.
zombies, I genuinely like. We look at Black Ops 3 is the easiest one to point this out on, where you look at zombies, how it carried that game mode from utter failure
Oh yeah.
considered like the very fact that that game is considered to be even mediocre is down to a third of the game, which Squid has said before is literally just a glorified survival mode. Again, this could stay true for this game, where we could end up in a position where after we get all of the content, maybe we get new guns, maybe multiplayer is improved and patched, maybe we could possibly, it's unlikely, but could possibly get more stuff with the story, and we'll definitely get more zombies content, and it just depends on what those things are.
It really depends upon how much Activision is wanting to put their chips into updating both this game and Modern Warfare, because they've done this weird thing where they're like conjoining the two, and it's like, all right,
Yeah.
you guys have a solid set of 2 video games here. Build upon them. We don't need another Call of Duty game next year. We don't. Like, just let these games breathe for a few years.
Yeah, it's weird how they're like implementing the story into like the seasons, because they already have like a new villain in Cold War.
Yeah.
It's like, it's weird because like I don't know how to feel about it, because we're not gonna get more story content, but we're gonna get it through the season.
Cool if we did.
Yeah,
It's like, if that character was Perseus, would it not make more sense? 'Cause
dude.
we get
The
it before.
I mean, that setup alone is already more interesting to me. He is like the head director of like the project. He was at like Rebirth Island.
Why wasn't that part of the campaign?
I know, he was the head guy of Project Nova, and he was at Rebirth Island during the raid. So like, that's like already way more interesting to me. And like, apparently Adler fucking took his eye out and he like fucking told him it was for Weaver and shit. Like dude, how's it that shit in the fucking campaign?
Oh yeah, when I was watching this, when I was watching that cutscene, I was like, "Holy shit, where was this?"
Yeah, I thought it looked quite interesting. It's weird. It's just like they did it with Modern Warfare as well, like when they brought in like Ghost and stuff like that. But like, it's like, I don't know. I just wish it would be in the campaign.
Yeah, you guys are not putting all the cool shit in the campaign. What gives?
It's weird, especially because this dude's design is infinitely more like interesting than what Perseus is.
Dude, there is one thing that I do want to bring up in case we gloss over it. Do you think this game sets up a sequel?
No.
No, I don't think so, man.
I like whenever you come away from the end of that game, and like you feel so. If you get the best ending, it's so dissatisfying. Or oh well, Perseus got away.
Dude.
And we killed these people.
It's not personal, kid.
That ending, and not to cut you off, Josh, just real quick, like that ending, like on that note, like a lot of my friends have said the same thing. They're just like, dude, the game just kind of ends. Like,
it does.
You do that, like the good ending mission, like you're like, all right, we secured the satellite, and boom, it's like, oh, holy fuck, my neck is broken from that breakneck pace we just ended the game at.
Next thing I know, we're on a cliff, and Adler's like, "Beautiful, isn't it?" And then Belle's like, "Tell me about the rabbits, George."
Yeah.
Just look at the flowers, Lenny.
At least he put up a fight.
Like I'm sure all four of us probably, whenever we played that part, as soon as we seen that we were on a cliff, we're like,
oh yeah,
no, it was
immediate. It was immediate.
This game was like. I think we kind of glossed over the best mission in the game.
What's that?
And what was that?
Your voice cut out.
All
What did
right,
you say?
I guess we're not talking about.
Did you say we glossed
The
over
game.
the best mission in the game, or what did you say?
We didn't go into as much detail as I would have liked on the red door section, the mission.
We can.
Where I kind of that mission again was like incredibly predictable. Where I think at that point, both me and Meme, I don't know about you two, but we'd figured out that all right, well, if they're doing these experiments on us, the chances are is that we were in some way, shape, or form a part of the KGB or working for Perseus.
No, that's the entire point of that mission, though.
Yeah, but prior to that mission.
Yeah.
So prior to that mission, you're kind of like, right, okay, well, the only reason they would like care about us in this instance is if we were valuable in some way, shape, or form. So we have information.
Right.
I thought it was pretty cut and
Well,
dry.
I think I found out about all that when they stabbed me in the eye.
I mean, I told Squid, like, I caught on pretty early myself, but like that. I mean, that's just me. I know that's not gonna be like everyone, but
I knew something was wrong, but I didn't pick up on the sleeper agent until like when I didn't pick on up on it until like during the red door section where they were like, very clearly testing on me. I was like, okay, so I'm a sleeper agent.
That was like from the very start of that mission. It was like, so you picked up an M16. And I was like, nah, I'll take the MP5.
no, I
thanks."
didn't.
Or I
Alright.
guess it was what happened.
Yeah, you jumped off a cliff and committed suicide.
What happened.
Yeah, right, Bell.
Yeah, that shit's funny.
Okay, you died. Bell. Then
Yeah,
what
when
happened?
you die, I did like that. When you die, it's like, yeah, okay, Bell, you were killed in action, sure.
You're telling me you
It reminds me of fucking nice guy Eddie in Reservoir Dogs. It's like, why don't you tell me what really happened?
What's
I
really
love
happened?
I think I watched a bit of your playthrough, Squid, where like the mission or the part of that mission where you're like killing clones of Adler. You like
Yeah.
didn't pick up on it until like you'd killed almost all of them. You're like, wait a second, please.
Oh yeah, because I was like far away and I like got close to him. I was like, wait a minute.
You
Yeah,
just looked
I didn't
back.
notice until after I killed them.
I was
like,
like,
I
wait.
went back and I was like, huh.
Immediately, I was like, wait, why are they all wearing orange coats?
Why do they all have nice hair?
You're like, oh my god.
Why do they all look like Brad Pitt?
And, like,
That could have just as well been a glitch, and like we wouldn't have even.
They just
That would have been
used the
fucking
same
funny.
asset for that section of the game. Just leave it in.
They're like, wow, I thought that part was really cool. They're like, yeah, we totally meant to put that
Yeah.
in.
Hey man, to be fair, did you see how many quality assurance teams that they had in the end credits?
Oh.
Holy shit.
Those guys
Really
all need to
wasn't
be
enough.
fired.
Didn't have enough quality assurance, guys.
They didn't
Yeah, I
assure
know,
my
you needed
goddamn
more.
quality.
Yeah, I got good like I think we spoke about this before. You guys haven't played Stanley Parable, have you?
No.
Got,
No,
like,
but
Stanley-
I'm aware of what it is. Like I've seen playthroughs of it.
I got those vibes from playing that Red Door sequence.
Mm-hmm.
There was me and Squid did the same thing, but I did it for
I don't know, I just really appreciated it because it felt cinematic to me.
there's a part I did it for a lot longer than Squid did it for, but there's a part in Squid's playthrough that you can watch on his Twitch. Is that on your Twitch or is it on now?
YouTube.
Yeah, just tell the people where they can follow you.
Well, it's in the description if you want to check them out, Meme too, and we don't have anything for Ethan, so go fuck yourself. There's
Guys, I
a
have a YouTube, please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
That's when he gets kicked out.
Guys, please, I need this.
there's a part where you have like a rectangular or a square like corridor. I ran in that square corridor backwards, and I'm not even joking.
Yep.
I did it for a lot longer than I'm.
I did it for probably 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
did it for a while myself. I messed with it until I found out that I couldn't mess with it anymore, basically.
Yeah, because each time I went back, there was another clock, and then after there were 4 clocks on the wall. It didn't
Yeah.
change.
I spent like a solid 40 minutes on that mission, just like trying to defy every action that Adler
Yeah,
did.
I did too.
And then you just
And there
start
was
fighting zombies, and he was like, "Okay, Bill, yeah, sure."
Which
alright.
kind of like makes me sad because I'm like, so okay, that was just Bell just being like, and then I fought zombies. And it's like, oh, I thought there was like more to it than that.
No, it actually happened.
Whoop.
None of that was real.
Yeah, that's what Adler doesn't understand is that actually did happen. He thinks he's lying.
That is actually what happened.
Yeah.
Get killed by zombies.
Then I started fighting zombies and they had like glowing yellow eyes and they smacked me. They didn't bite me. They were
I
smacking
heard
me.
like a weird high-pitched laugh.
There was a small girl who like controlled all of the zombies, and a small German girl, and
There was this
Yeah.
dude in a giant mech playing dragons.
He just rehearses the entire zombie storyline. Adler's like, whoa.
No, he does like a complete recollection of the entire zombies timeline, and he's like, "Well, all right, Bill, yeah, sure."
Yeah, sure, Bell. Yeah, they got poisoned at the end. Yeah, that would happen to those characters. Sure.
Yeah, Bell. No fighting would ever be that bad, Bell.
I love the idea that he's sitting like taking notes, and then he's the one that produces the entire
Sure,
story.
Bell. Yeah, they're just gonna set up all those plot beats and not pay them off.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, Bell. Okay.
Now tell me how it really ends.
That would be a
Yeah.
great segue into, that would be a great amazing segue into like zombies and be like, now tell me how it really went. It's like, ah, good, we undid what we did. There we go.
I mean, yes, that's more or less it.
Yeah,
Is there
that's it.
Yes, I was getting out about the espionage. Like, I like the espionage feel to the missions, and I wish they'd done them more. But the
Yeah.
intel, trying to like decipher the intel. How you did that, like, I don't want to say it didn't make any fucking sense, but it was like how you did it was strange because it was what I remember, you had to get like you had to piece one of the numbers from one state with another state.
Match the numbers and it made no sense.
Yeah.
It didn't tell you which numbers to rehash, so it
Numbers,
just
Mason.
didn't even tell you. Like, I wasn't sure, am I supposed to put in like the name or am I supposed to put in?
Oh, like I'm telling you, these puzzles made me feel like a fucking idiot. But
Yeah.
like in reality, it was just kind of random.
And can I
Yeah.
just say, like, I made this haven't made this criticism on this podcast in particular, but I talked to you guys about it. The issue I had was when they give you the side missions and then they tell you like, okay, you need this information before you like, you have to look in the levels to find this information. In my mind, when you give me side missions that are optional, I think that if I continue down the main story, I'll lose the ability to do those optional missions. So I didn't do them thinking that, okay, what I meant to say is I did them thinking that I would find the intel that it said I needed to find within that level. They didn't. I'm telling you, it was not portrayed very clearly. At least in the
And, like,
description for it wasn't, at least.
No, like I was very confused about that as well because I was like, wait, like, so am I just not going to be able to do these side missions later? Luckily, I kept pressing on and I realized, oh, I have to find the evidence throughout the entire campaign, but it does not make it clear enough. And also, I didn't know whether or not there was going to be a cutoff point.
Yeah,
So for all you know, that was the last time that you had a briefing. And
dude,
also,
exactly.
like,
Yes.
for all you knew, the intel that you needed to complete those missions were in the mission you just played, and you missed it.
That's what I'm saying was the mission, the Operation Chaos or whatever, the one where Mason and Woods attack that like motel or whatever. I thought that the intel was going to be in that mission, and here's the problem with it: if you even start the mission, you lose the ability to get that intel. It's gone. Like, you cannot do it. And I was so upset because I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. Like, don't give me the option to do the mission yet then, maybe? Like, I don't know. It was just weird the way that, like, they... Like, because they do tell you, but they word it so weirdly.
Have the side missions not unlock until you get all the evidence there.
You see, that would be
Yeah,
smart.
that would make way
But-
more fucking sense. Or just don't make me lose the ability to complete it if I start the
Really have
mission.
them on the board, but have them grayed out, and like once you're like hovering over them, say you need more evidence. Search throughout the missions.
Yeah.
That's literally all you have to do.
I was just afraid I was going to lose the ability. So, and like, in my mind, when I get a game and it says I have optional things, like there's side quests or whatever, I like to do the side quests before I do the main story. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this first. And like, I was punished for it. And I was like, okay, great.
What's everybody's favorite part of Cold War?
The zombies.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about like the game as a
Like,
whole,
the
the
game in
zombies.
general.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think it's the moment where you call over your Russian spies and they blow you up along with Adler, killing you.
Oh my fucking! That's what I started. That's what got us off to a laughing start, Josh. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't, because obviously I never saw that mission before, so I just love he's like, fucking Bell's like, here's the sign, boys, take them down. They fire a fucking RPG at your feet, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? What are you doing?
I'm surprised I did not bust up laughing during that moment.
I started cracking up. I was like, they just killed Bell. Bell's just fucking dead.
It's like Bell looks down. He
I like
forgets, looks down, realizes he's lost both his legs.
Now he's Old Man Woods.
Oh Jesus Christ! I started cracking up because I was like, "What kind of ambush was this, Bell? You just got owned by your own boys."
Terrible.
Like, you know the bit where you phone them up? It's like, right, so what I want you to do is you get an RPG, you fire at my feet, and make sure that you, like, make sure you get
Make
me
sure you
and,
blast me 40 feet backwards so none of them can shoot me. Like, it's
Hey man, he did it out of consideration.
it was so
You know-
bizarre. I remember laughing so fucking hard that I'm like, how am I not dead? I just got hit with
No,
an
no, no, no,
RPG in a
no.
cutscene, no less.
I think it's
The
because
only-
so much ridiculous shit happens in the COD campaigns. I just bought it. I was like, you know what? That's pretty. Par
He's
for the
alive.
course.
He'd be like, yeah.
There's another part at the end, right? So whenever
Oh,
you
God.
finally try to get Adler down,
Oh my
you get him into the room, right? First of all, what Squid did, Squid's playthrough of it was, he goes, "Hey, can you give me a lighter?" Squid looks at him dead in the eye, looks at the lighter and shoots him in the face. And then Meme's playthrough went a little bit different.
Yeah, I'll give you a light.
Meme gave him the lighter, and then Meme was like, "What if I don't struggle? Like, mind Perseus is in the doorway watching this unfold."
Keep going.
Adler forces himself on top of you, stabs you in the chest, and you die.
With Perseus in view, with his like arms crossed in the doorway. Perseus is just like, yeah, I'm okay with this. He's killing my fucking second in command right in front of me. I thought it was so strange. I was like, wait, why isn't Perseus like stepping in and like killing Adler himself at this point? Like, what the fuck?
He's just
like,
okay with it.
It was so funny that, and then when I reloaded, it was so funny. I like he's in the middle of talking, I just fucking shot him in the face. And just like, oh, Jesus, it's pretty funny.
I think
But,
the main takeaway from this game is, for the time being, I think it'll be considered as a missed opportunity, and I think it always will be. But how zombies in the future content is
How zombies fares is to be seen.
yeah, how
Once
that-
again, Zombies is going to carry another Call of Duty game to the finish line.
Yeah,
again,
that's where we're at.
Like,
which is,
this is a recurring theme.
I mean, I put it in the description of this video. We've
know-
reached the point of normalization now.
You would think like with a mode that's carrying the entire franchise, they would, give them all the time and money that they need to make it good.
Or just give them their own fucking game at this point. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Could you imagine if we had like a $60 worth of Zombies content? Like, we just got a whole
Yeah.
Zombies game, like, separate? Like,
It'd be
God.
nice.
It'd be fucking incredible. And, like, here
But-
we are having to be forced to get these, like, half-assed campaigns and shitty multiplayers just to play Zombies. And it's just, like, great.
But yes, the takeaway is if you're going to buy this game, probably wait a bit and play it for the zombies because the zombies is really fucking good.
I mean, the ultimate, like, the bright side is that there is absolutely no content at all that is locked behind exclusivity or anything, because that would be really shitty, of a company to do that to their game.
I
Well,
can't imagine a world where people would do that.
Because it just doesn't make sense for a game to do that. Like, could you imagine if we didn't have the Onslaught mode on PC? Fuck me.
Dude, like I mean, like in a world where like you just don't have content and you don't have free and fair elections, I mean it's crazy. Like,
Brilliant.
Um,
This video's getting taken down now.
oh,
Sorry,
no.
guys.
No, I didn't.
The-
That's ambiguous, like there's a lot of third world countries out there
Yeah.
No,
that have really bad elections.
There's gonna be a fucking disclaimer at the bottom of the video. Now it's gonna say, "Here's some information about the election." This claim is disproven.
The one guy who has to sit through this 3-hour podcast
Yeah.
just to hear one sentence about an election. He's like, "Oh, actually,
Disputed.
the AP has declared Joe Biden the winner of this."
Debunked.
debunked.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that we need to just hope to God that Zombies stays good, because
I'm sure it will, because like even if the maps aren't like absolutely amazing, the gameplay's gonna carry it.
yeah, I mean, it's just funny that this is
Or
where
do we
we're at
need
again.
another map? We need another map.
Yeah, it's just funny that this is where we're at again, though. Like this always happens.
History repeats itself.
Just zombies again is going to be the one thing that keeps the game alive. There's no way that the multiplayer is going to survive. I don't see that happening.
No, people are already going back to Modern Warfare.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre.
Pretty pathetic, but it is what it is.
Really
if-
appreciate you giving us this time.
Yeah.
Memes, Twitch, YouTube's in the description, so Squids, and yeah,
And
that's
Ethan,
all
you
the
can fuck off.
No, but I have a YouTube.
Wait. I think one last thing we could say, if we all want to like give like a rating as far as like game in general, and then like Call of Duty title, like, would you want to do that?
6 out of 10.
6 out of yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Six.
thinking. Yep, I was the exact number I was thinking. Like 6,
I'll
maybe
be
like a
little more
6.5.
generous than you guys. I'll give it a 7.
That's fair.
Mm.
That's fair. I think. Yeah, that's interesting. I was thinking
purely
6,
because of the
6.5.
zombies and the campaign's fun to play. That's what
I feel
we
like
get.
if you to something like Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare is definitely a 7, and I don't. This game is a step backwards, and for that reason, it's a 6.
Yeah, it's definitely a step backwards.
But is that it?
We love you,
Yeah.
random citizens, and we'll get on
All right. We love you all. Be sure to get out there and vote.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
remember,
vote
even if you die, still get out there and vote.
Get out there and vote.
Even if you don't
Even
live
if you're
in
not
that,
a citizen, get out there and vote. You know.
Yeah.
Your voice deserves to be
Bring your
heard.
fucking dog,
not
dude. Your dog can
registered to
vote.
Get out and vote.
We're gonna end every podcast when it's us on the main like team for the podcast. We're always gonna end the episodes just with get out and
Go
vote,
out
guys.
and vote.
That's how we ended the one. We're like, go out and
Registered to
vote.
vote yet?
Our goal is to say something so obscure that we still get the Associated Press disclaimer at the bottom of the video.
Yeah, I mean,
Voting
that'd probably give us more publicity.
voting is good. You should
Voting.
vote.
Well, I mean, at this point, quite clearly, it doesn't matter. And on that note, love you, random citizens, and adios.
Thank you for watching episode 12 of the Pafe podcast. Can be found on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.